But I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
I don't know if it was a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
He says there's lights in the sky.
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0,
self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio.
Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. What's going on, guys? It's Thursday night, which feels like a Troubled Minds Friday. And this is one of the nights, Thursday, of course, we get together to talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. You know what those things are. First, we do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific. What are those things? You know what they are. Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. I don't have a board, guys, so I got to adjust my own knobs and levers, so pardon me for just a sec. But yeah, all right, so that's what's going on. That's what we do here at this show. We talk about all that stuff and more, because that's just really a sum up of all the things, because we cover everything. I do a news show on Monday and Friday where it's just propaganda news stuff and real news and fake news and a whole bunch of things, because I think that if you become the alien guy or you just want to talk about UFOs, you're limiting yourself. I mean, come on now. We've got the end of the world happening, don't we? I mean, we've got the end of the world, they keep telling us, right? First, it's the pandemic, and then now it's World War III. I mean, for crying out loud, we've got the end of the world happening. So, I mean, if we're still talking about just UFOs as lights in the sky, oh, goodness gracious, like, what are you watching? Anyway, there you go. There's my dig on myself and also the rest of the UFO community, because, hey, World War III? It's on the way. All right, so I'm just kidding. Don't take anything I say as fact, by the way, because as always, right, we live in a fake news world. The entire world being upside down is part of that, part of this discussion, and why we can't get straight answers on anything. So first and foremost, don't ever take anything I say as any sort of gospel. Don't run with it to the bank. Don't go start buying up food or any of the rest of that stuff. I mean, you should be doing that stuff anyway, but don't do it because of something I said is what I'm trying to say here. So anyway, as we go tonight, like this, that's what this show's about. It's about all those things. There's a ton of things to talk about, lots of compelling conversations to be had, and we're going to do it. And that's what we do on this show. And as always, you guys know me. I do not have any inside sources. I don't have any somebody whispering to me from a staffer in Congress, any sort of leaks or even pertinent information, really, to be perfectly honest. I just watch news cycles. And as we know, as we've seen, news cycles tend to be garbage because it's all clickbait, it's all fear, it's all paranoia, it's all control all the time. And so there you go. If you think I'm weird, well, call me weird because and blame the news cycles that are making me more weird by the day. So anyway, that's really what this is about. It's really talking about all these things. And I do not have any inside sources. Again, back to that idea. No Galactic Federation ambassadors, as Ryan Gable says, which I think is hilarious as hell. And nobody like that. Nobody talks to me. The aliens don't talk to me, guys. I'm sorry, they don't talk to me. So I don't know what to tell you, other than we got wild speculation and lots of maybe juice on tap. That's what we do here. So, okay. So with all that said, you guys are the secret weapon of troubled minds. I bring a topic, a conversation, maybe an idea, maybe hopefully something you haven't thought of before, and we get together and just talk. And it's as simple as that, right? So if you want to be part of the show tonight, the secret weapon of troubled minds, of course, being you. If you're listening to me on Thursday night, it's March 17th. It's St. Patty's Day, by the way. Happy St. Patty's Day. And, of course, as you know, I was talking to my wife, Mrs. Strange, a little bit earlier today, and she's like, are you going to do a St. Patty's show tonight? And you're going to talk about leprechauns? And I got to tell you, I considered it. I was like, you know what? Troubled Minds never, ever, ever kind of follows like the calendars and like what everybody else does, because I really enjoy the fact that we're not like everybody else, right? Everybody else does their little, UFO interviews with each other and their little patty cake baker's man, and interviews the same people over and over again, and what's different from what you said yesterday? Well, I don't know. Let's put you on a new show and we'll interview you and find out again, right? Patty cake, UFOs. And well, instead, we've always been different. We've always been different and not just the idea that, well, there's more things to talk about than, UFOs are compelling and interesting for sure. But like last night with Night Stalker on, shout out to Night Stalker, working hard out there, putting the cold beer on the shelf. Love you for that, my man. If I go to the store and there's no cold beer, I think of you. I'm like, damn, if only we had a Night Stalker in this town, things would be good. But anyway, so I digress. But Derek was on the show last night and we were talking about UFO cults, right? Talking about all kinds of crazy stuff because there are compelling things to talk about in the UFO world. I just don't think it should be as linear as the same damn question over and over and over again of, well, what do you guys think UFOs are? Well, haven't we done that? Hasn't then been we've kind of walked all over that notion and concept for a very long time now. It gets exhausting. It's like talking about politics, like I've said. So anyway, I'm trying to bring something new that you haven't heard, and I'm going to do that tonight, I think, because nobody's talking about this one yet. You know why? Never mind. I'll let you figure it out. But okay, here's the deal. So that's what we're doing. The secret weapon of troubled minds is this is my long-winded way of saying, call me. Hey, call me. Well, by the way, I was talking to my cousin this weekend as well, and we were talking about what it's like to get old. And he was saying that, when you do the call me, it used to be like this with like the finger up and the finger down, the pinky and the thumb, right? Like call me. It was like the hand motion. But now it's not like that. Like the youngsters are doing like this, kind of like they're holding a brick to their head, because of like the size and shape of a cell phone. So call me is now like this and not like, there you go. Welcome. If you've been doing it the old way, you are also old. No, I'm just kidding. There's no arbiter of being old here. So anyway, all right. So with all that said, laughing at myself. If you can't laugh, you can't have fun. What the hell are you doing? 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. We'll put you on the show. And don't forget the brick phone, right? And there you go. All right. So there's the phone number. Again, it's on the stream. We are streaming, of course, on Rockfin, YouTube, D Live, and Twitter. And we're broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. And if you want to be part of the show, there's the phone number. And click the Discord link at troubleminds.org. I'm watching the Discord Discord and all the places, watching it on over on Fringe. Speaking of Fringe Discord, please join that as well. Fringe.fm/chat. I see you over there, S Magician, chatting it up, excited about Troubled Minds. Appreciate that very much. And we're just doing our thing. Let's see, what else do we got? I did that. The website, the phone number. Also, please download the Fringe app. It's the easiest way to listen to Troubled Minds. You can find us there, of course, Monday through Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific. And the Fringe app is free. You can find it in the Android and the Apple app stores. And just smash play button. Smash play at precisely 7 o'clock. Monday through Thursday, you'll get me, you'll get you, you'll get us, and you'll get, hopefully, great conversations, including all the other amazing programming that's on Fringe as well. Fringe FM. Okay. All right. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get to it. I'm calling this one tonight. Now, this is a little bit off the rails because why not? It's Troubled Minds Friday, as I like to call Thursdays, because we don't do shows on Fridays typically. But we're calling this Troubled Minds Friday, and we're having a little bit of fun. And have you ever heard of the cosmic lab leak hypothesis? Mm-hmm. Yes. All right. You haven't, because nobody has said it yet. Well, I just said it. All right. So let's start. This is where we begin. Okay. Now this gets pretty wild. We've talked in the past. Tonight we're going to do a little bit of conspiracy speculation theater, right? Which is what we do when we kind of just really take off the gravity boots and just float into the stratosphere and wonder what the hell's really going on in the cosmos. And so it started with this. And I'll show you again, as always, where my thought process kind of led us down this rabbit hole. But so the first thing is this: a couple questions regarding this conversation tonight. Number one, right? We talk about alien invasion from time to time, sort of in that tongue-in-cheek way that the aliens are going to come, they're going to get us, they're going to the Project Blue Beam, the government's going to use alien invasion as the pretext to take over everything, to steal all our rights, right? Like the kind of also tongue-in-cheek a little bit, and until it happens, and then I'm going to be super pissed that we were right about that. But in those terms, you've got the idea of alien invasion, old school, like we're talking like 1940s, 1950s, like we were talking to Night Stalker last night a little bit about kind of the changing of the guard, how UAPs became, or UFOs became UAPs, and then it was no longer about little green men, it was about consciousness. Well, we're going to time travel back to when it was about little green men and when there were fears of Martian invasions. So let's go to this. So the first question is, if somehow, some way we were, let's say, invaded by aliens, how do you think it would go down? With, again, technology being what it is, and of course them probably being thousands of generations ahead of us technology-wise, how do you think that would actually happen? Just throwing it out there as a more fun conversation. We've done that before, but I've got a theory for you of how this would go down. And how, by the way, we would stand no damn chance. But again, what do I know? Don't listen to me. Just try and keep up. Just try and keep up and figure out what the hell I'm saying. I would appreciate that very much. So, okay, so we got that. The first thing, how do you think it would go down? Number two, the other question becomes, well, we have all of this end of the world propaganda. All right, we've got the pandemic's going to be the end of all things. World War III is going to be the end of all things. Nuclear war is going to be the end of all things. So let's talk about, instead of alien invasion, what else did you have on your 2022 Eschaton bingo card? The end of the world, what did you guess? So we talked about last year or 2 years ago, what was it? The murder hornets? Well, I mean, all kinds of just goofball ideas of like the news cycles just clunking out one ridiculous fear thing after another. Oh, what about the spiders? You guys hear about that East Coast spiders thing where these giant spiders that are going to be falling from the skies and things like this? Yeah, well, there you go. Dude, James has it right. Don't listen to me as you're here listening to me. Okay, so yeah, Eschaton bingo, that's what we're playing. All right. So anyway, so what is the wildest thing, just again, we're doing some conspiracy speculation theater tonight, that you could actually think of for the rest of 2022? We've talked about, of course, World War III. We've talked about, of course, the pandemic. We've talked about things like this. So what, if you got to predict, let's say, and again, and I'm not an advocate for the actual end of the world. This is thumbing your nose at the end of all things, and standing up and staring at the sky, beating your chest and howling at the moon, and saying, if it happens and it is out of my hands, it's definitely out of my hands, okay? That's what this is about. So please take this in the proper context. I'm not a doom monger, and I'm not saying any of these things, but what's on your bingo card for the 2022 end of the world and whatever the heck is going on with this? So there we go. Yeah, I've got some Spider Show stuff lined up. I almost did a Spider Show a week ago, but we had just done the Indra's Web just maybe like 10 days or 2 weeks prior to that, so I didn't. So that's why Clyde beat me to the Spider Show, because I had that stuff locked up weeks ago. I just didn't do it. Anyway, I just thought it was too close back to back. But I got a banging Spider Show coming up as well. I just didn't want to give you guys nightmares too many days in a row. All right, so let's get to this. This is where my mind was tonight. TheVerge.com reports this. This is pretty wild. AI suggested 40,000 new possible chemical weapons in just 6 hours. 6 hours. Yep. Quote, "For me, the concern was just how easy it was to do." Okay. Oh, wait, what? Wait, I thought AI was our friend, guys. What's going on here? What is this? Am I wrong to say WTF is going on with this? All right. Anyway, let's read just a little bit from this, and then you'll see where my mind is tonight. It took less than 6 hours for drug developing AI to invent 40,000 potentially lethal molecules. Researchers put AI normally used to search for helpful drugs into a kind of bad actor mode to show how easily it could be abused at a biological arms control conference. Uh-oh. All the researchers had to do was tweak their methodology to seek out rather than weed out toxicity. The AI came up with tens of thousands of new substances, some of which were similar to VX, the most potent nerve agent ever developed. Shaken, they published their findings this month in the journal Nature Machine Intelligence. Because why not? Hey, why not just publish it? If anybody ever wondered how to make 40,000 deadly pathogens, hey, let's just publish the paper, right? I mean, this should be fine. This should totally be fine, right? Here you go. If you didn't put this one on your 2022 Eschaton bingo card, meaning that AI was going to create tens of thousands of new chemical weapons, and maybe that would bring the end, then, well, maybe we're behind the times. Maybe we're behind the times. Here we go. This continues. Like I said, don't worry. I'm not a doom monger. I don't think the end is really nigh, or I wouldn't be laughing. But anyway, the paper had us at The Verge in a little shock, they say. So to figure out how worried we should be, The Verge spoke with Fabio Urbina, lead author of the paper. He's also a senior scientist at Collaborations Pharmaceuticals Incorporated, a company that focuses on finding drug treatments for rare diseases. And of course, the interview has been lightly edited for length and clarity. And so what I did, of course, is I peeled out this for you, the actual paper itself. Okay, so if you want to read the paper and see what they did, they had to actually just I'm linking this in the chat. As always, by the way, you guys can find all my sources in the links down below, because it's important for transparency that you see I'm just not flat out making stuff up. If I am, I'll tell you I'm drinking the maybe juice, which of course means speculating. The idea that Aristotle said maybe juice equals it is the mark of an educated mind to entertain a thought without accepting it. Okay, that's maybe juice. So I'll tell you. But this came from a legitimate thing, and there's the actual scientific paper that I'm linked in the chat, and you guys can check it out. Here we go. So it's interesting that they asked him about his job in here in this interview. It's a good read if you guys want to check it out. He says, the question is this. Now check this out. Can you walk me through what you did that moved the model to go toward toxicity? All right, toxicity. He says, I'll be a little vague. This is the answer from the individual that actually ran this AI model. He says, I'll be a little vague with some details because we were told basically to withhold some of the specifics. Broadly, the way it works for this experiment is that we have a lot of data sets, historically, of molecules that have been tested to see whether or not they're toxic. All right. In particular, the one that we focus on here is VX. It's an inhibitor of what's known as, acetyl cholinesteras. I'm not a scientist. Sorry about that. We'll just call it VX. That's why they call it VX, because it's a very long name, and I don't even know what all that stuff really means. But anyway, it's deadly, let's say. That's VX is super deadly. He continues, whenever you do anything muscle-related, your neurons use this the molecule as a signal to basically say, go move your muscles. The way VX is lethal is it actually stops your diaphragm, your lung muscles from being able to move, so your lungs become paralyzed, all right? So what they did is they, clearly this is something you want to avoid. So historically, experiments have been done with different types of molecules to see whether they inhibit this. And so we built up these large data sets of the molecule structures and how toxic they are, all right? So then he continues, we can use these data sets in order to create a machine learning model, which basically learns what parts of the molecular structure are important for toxicity and which are not. Then we can give this machine learning model new molecules, potentially new drugs that maybe have never been tested before. And all this it can be predicted to be toxic or predicted to not be toxic, okay? So there was a way to virtually screen out something in case, you could say, he gives an example here, a little ways down in the interview, that you can, for instance, if it was something that lowers your blood pressure but it has other heart problems kind of associated, they have to throw it out, because clearly your benefits cannot, right, exceed the damage done. So, or they need to, or else, no damage, et cetera, so on, right? But so we got that. But then what they did is they since they have these huge data sets of these actual molecules that are dangerous, and not just dangerous, like dangerous to the level of VX. Again, the most lethal nerve toxin out there. All right. And check it out. This is pretty wild. And you'll see what I mean. And we'll get to alien invasion and how this all applies in just a second. But basically, they turned it around and said, okay, so instead of avoiding all those molecules that do damage, let's reverse the AI and tell it to go find things that actually cause problems. And so what did it do? In a matter of hours, you got it. It created 40,000 new possible chemical weapons, on not just lethal in terms of, lethal, in terms of like the most lethal substances ever, right? Ever. And so, of course, you know me. I'm like, well, this is horrific enough. This all by itself would be a Troubled Mind show. However, let's pour some maybe juice on this. Meaning that I was thinking in terms of, if you remember the old movie Independence Day, all right? How did they stop Independence Day? The aliens that were invading, you guys remember this movie? From 1996, actually, which I was looking at the date. And by the way, 1996 was 1 year before 1997. You guys know this. That's no secret. But 1997 was also the 25th anniversary of, we just talked about it last night, the Heaven's Gate stuff and the Phoenix Lights. And so anyway, interestingly, 25 years ago this month. But so we had 1996 Independence Day, and that was, of course, it actually came out July 4th of that year, 1996, all right? But in that movie, they defeated the alien menace. I'm sorry, spoiler alert on a 26-year-old movie. But they defeated the alien menace with a virus. But not a virus, a computer virus, not a pathogen, not something that they engineered in a lab to send at the aliens and kill them. No, it was a computer virus that they flew the little single fighter craft back with Will Smith and what's his guy's name, Jeff Goldblum, back to the alien mothership and infected the entire network with a computer virus they wrote on Earth. Super spoiler alert, all right? If you haven't seen it, 26-year-old movie. Hey, if you haven't seen it, that's your fault, not mine. But all right, so here's the thing. So it got me thinking, of course. I'm like, wait, so let's say they flipped it. And as always, we're talking conspiracy speculation theater a little bit tonight. And what if this AI, in a matter of just hours, could create 40,000 new possible chemical weapons that were not just regular run-of-the-mill weapons of mass destruction? Well, they were the most deadly things known to mankind ever. Yeah, no, this is fine, right? So if our AI can do that, do you think that this is how an actual alien invasion would go down? I've talked about this in the past, that they would just maybe kidnap one of us because they would just need one DNA structure sort of thing to be able to put it into their little AI machines and then crank out, oh, I don't know, if we could do 40,000 deadly substances in a matter of hours with our AI, how many do you think aliens could get and how quickly? So I don't know. Just like I said, not that I'm trying to fearmonger anything at all. I think, like I said, let's thumb our nose at the end of the world because I don't believe it's coming because, well, I'll believe it when I see it. And, well, there's that. But then the second part is, did you have on your 2022 Eschaton bingo card? That's right. The Cosmic Lab Leak Hypothesis. You see where I'm headed with this. What are your thoughts so far? What are your craziest ideas about what the end of the world will actually be? Doing some of that tonight because, boy, I tell you what, the fear in the media is all over the place. It's driving me nuts. So let's laugh at ourselves a little bit. 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. Don't go anywhere. More after the break. Be right back. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we are streaming on Rockfin, YouTube, DLive, and Twitter. And we are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. And we're taking your phone calls tonight. We're laughing at ourselves a little bit because of the fear-based media. The end of the world is coming, don't you know? Day in and day out, the end of the world. Well, my question for you tonight is, what is on your Eschaton bingo card for 2022? Is it giant spiders? Is it pathogens from space? Is it AI-created bioweapons? Well, we're all over the place tonight. I'd love to hear your thoughts. You can reach me and whoever else might be listening at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And we're just kind of tongue-in-cheek talking about the end of the world. Because why not? And I'm calling this the Cosmic Lab Leak Hypothesis because, of course, AI has suggested 40,000 new possible chemical weapons in a matter of just 6 hours. So if we could do that in 6 hours with our machine learning, what do you think extraterrestrials could do and how quickly they could inject that pathogen into the atmosphere and then sit back and have some beers and take over while having a party? There you go. I'm going to put that on my Eschaton bingo card for 2022 because why not? 702-957-1037. Let's go to Joe in Florida. What's up, my friend? Welcome to Troubled Minds. How are you tonight?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
All right. Let me park my giant spider and get off the saddle.
Perfect. Perfect.
Now let me feed those sharks with laser beams. No, it's I don't know how you found this topic. First of all, it's great, but it brings up a lot of things. I've always theorized that there's a computer out there. Somebody said, how come they can't find a cure to cancer? How come they can't unravel a virus very quickly and actually make a cure, and maybe be very open to the public so that we don't have these fears about vaccines and things, and rightfully so, because while I believe in the science, I do believe that they turn other things on. They cause autoimmune diseases and things. So if we have machine learning that can do better, and clearly it's doing the best thing that we humans do, it's a reflection of us, because the thing that we do very efficiently is kill each other. I think we all agree. Why couldn't the machine be turned around to do something else? As far as aliens, if they're so far ahead of us, then they don't need the machines to kill us. They might use a machine to terraform another planet. Why bother with us? And if they have any guilt or conscience, who knows? Even more so, that they would respect life more than we respect life ourselves. I think would need to be asked.
Yeah, I don't know who said it in chat, but somebody said, why aren't we making weapons of mass creation? Like, what's going on here?
It's, So, again, things you could use a computer for. If a computer could decode that and make, poison gas, why couldn't we have a universal translator? I mean, I know we're getting there, but why couldn't we start with that? Why couldn't we start to live something, a life of some idealist future? But, it's a good topic, and it doesn't surprise me. When I turned it on today, I had other things to do, but I turned the show on. I'm like, let me leave the introduction on, because it was a really interesting topic to develop that in a matter of 6 freaking hours. So imagine when we finally have the quantum breakthrough, how's that going to go down? And
exactly. Exactly. What if they left the machine on overnight? What if it got better overnight?
Oh my gosh! It might be like the trouble with tribbles, except it'll be a bunch of T-800s running around, killing everybody.
Exactly. Like this is terrifying.
Everything would multiply.
Exactly. Go ahead.
There's some lyrics to songs that I keep thinking of, but ego, the ego, who I think these people that, there's scientists and things that do it for the best of humanity, but, you look at Musk, maybe that's not a great example, but they were in it for profit, and that's a whole other historical, sociological question about motivation. Why would you make a creation? I remember the one Star Trek where the guy was inventing the warp drive, and they're like, why'd you do it? And he's basically saying, I did it for chicks. I want to be on the beach and hanging out with girls. So that was his motivation. But what happens if some psycho finally comes up with the quantum solution and true artificial intelligence? What are they going to do with that? And if it can decrypt everything in an instance and have control of all whatever networks are connected, we'd be in trouble.
We'd be in serious trouble. Yeah.
We'll be in serious trouble. And maybe the alien, and who's to say, I mean, if all of these UFO stories are true, that they shut down nuclear bases and things like that, the government's got to know something that we don't. So, I look at what's going on now, like you said, under the world doom stuff, and it's clear that no country at this point in time, I mean, they might take that place over, but it's a matter of holding a place. But really the age of, I would think, colonial conquest is over. I don't think the Chinese are going to come and invade us, this and that, the other thing. So why are we keeping weapons? Why are we keeping them if we're clearly not using them? Whoever we are, but one could say we've used them for lesser things in the Middle East. I mean, but then you look at the video of those UFOs that they say at the aircraft carrier, and we talk about the interviews that the pilots gave. We've had this show before, and it sounds like they're saying we need money for defense because we can't obviously bill a hammer at $800 anymore because the public has caught on to that.
Exactly right. So, and it brings to light this same idea of these chemical weapons, 40,000 new ones in 6 hours. What are they actually spending the money on? Yeah, man. I'm telling you, there's a lot of reasons to have a troubled mind these days, isn't there?
There is. I was looking up. It was funny because it was a show. John Greenwald did do a small show. I forget what it was called, but in one of the episodes, I don't know if you remember bath salts in Florida and eating people's faces and everything. And I looked up, lab leaks because there was the talk of labs in Ukraine and all of this stuff. So I was like, you know what? I had friends that were putting up, there's labs, there's biolabs in Ukraine. And I'm like, guess what, idiots? There's biolabs all over the place. The media is just pumping this one in front of you. But I was curious because I was looking up, there was a good conspiracy that I thought was funny, that there was bath salts and people eating their faces, like in Miami.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there was supposedly like a rabies outbreak. and that there was a biolab in Miami, and I could not find the article. I found some things about bath salts, but I couldn't find the article. But I remember it was on some low-budget show. It was like Unsolved Conspiracy something, and then Conspiracy America. But John Greenwald did some narrating on that show, and I remember that. And then I couldn't find the article. And who's to say?
It was a thing. I remember it. If it got memory hold, Joe, I'm with you. I remember it. That went down. There was actually an article about that eating people's faces in Florida, of all places. Some sort of new.
What happened with bath salts? But the greater conspiracy of that was maybe they let out this humanized version of the rabies, and that's what people did. And then don't forget, you and I remember.
Perfect. The phone line just took a crap, which I'm going to call this back. Always perfect, right? Right when we're getting somewhere. All right, I'm going to mute this.
Thank you for calling Troubled Minds.
We're taking your phone calls at 702-957-1037. I'm going to drop Joe here, and sorry about that. Actually, let's get him in right back on and say we got Christian waiting behind you. He's been waiting for a long time. So let's, 1 sec here, 1 sec. I think we're okay. Unmute. There we go. Sorry, Joe. You got cut off. Go right ahead, bro. You were talking about bath salts. Let's wrap this up so we can get Christian on as well.
Oh, yeah, no, so real quick. So, bath salts and everything, and I don't know if it came through, but remember the CDC posted something about how to survive a zombie apocalypse not long after that, I believe. So that was kind of funny. I'll leave you with that. Maybe I'll call after midnight. Good show.
You're the best, brother. I appreciate it. Great stuff as always, Joe in Florida. We'll talk to you a little bit later. Have a great night. There you go. Easy as that. 702-957-1037. We'll put you on the show. Real quick, just to reframe this, an AI program suggested 40,000 new possible chemical weapons in just 6 hours. And they had to turn it off because it was so efficient they were alarmed. Yeah, something's up. Let's go to Christian in Puerto Rico. Welcome to Troubled Minds, my friend. Thanks for being patient. How are you tonight?
Hey, man. How's it going?
Doing well. Thanks. Yeah, loud and clear. Thanks for listening. Thanks for calling. What's on your mind tonight, my man?
I'm happy to. Yeah, first time caller. So about the end of the world stuff, man. I don't know. Like, there seems a lot of stuff going on right now with like Ukraine, Russia, nuclear weapons, aliens, all that stuff. I when it comes to alien invasion, I feel like here's my take on it. Like, I think that. There's all this Foo Fighter stuff that they were here before World War II. I don't know if I believe that. But, when we dropped the atomic bomb, I really think we, sent a something happened that, the universe or, other smarter aliens, noticed, holy shit, these guys, have something very dangerous. And then they started, spying and, collecting intelligence on us. And then they're like, okay, they didn't keep doing it, so let's give them a break. They didn't seem to be that bad, they had to do what they had to do. Yeah, they're, improving in defense and all that, but they're not nuking all the time. But I'm not one of those guys that thinks that if we start nuking, that the aliens would step in and save us. That is not what I'm saying. I would not count on that. Okay?
I'm with you. Also put me in that camp. I'm not counting on that either. Please, just a reminder, we are on the actual radio. Please keep your cursing to a 0. But go ahead.
Okay, that's hard for me, but thanks for calling me. So,
you got it.
Yeah, but if something like that were to happen where we would actually start, nuking each other and whatnot, maybe, what's not to say that the aliens, changed their mind, and they're maybe these people are not as good as we thought they were, and, whatever, and then they get evil on us. And honestly, if they want to do that, I don't think we stand a chance. That Independence Day thing where we put a virus, it's not going to work. We just stand no chance, man. If they change their mind, we are screwed. There's just no way. So yeah, that's my take on it. You know, hopefully they got good intentions. I don't know. I do know I don't know. I haven't seen an alien, but I have seen a flying saucer, and I'm not an experiencer or nothing. I just looked at the sky at one moment and like the perfect second, and I saw it, and it was so fast that if I wouldn't have looked at the sky at that time, I wouldn't have seen it because it was going coast to coast, you know? So, like, that was, I don't know, it was an eye-opener for me, and I'm like, damn, this is real. Like, these people,
some things
like,
maybe
you know,
real.
like, it was like, because I was I was one of those guys, man, that was like, I would judge people. I would like, yeah, right, aliens, man, you're a moron. Like, you know, like, I was that guy, and then it was like, oh, damn, you know, and now I feel like guilty about that, and get frustrated with the public when they're, you know, they have that attitude, which a lot of mainstream does have that attitude, and, you know, it's unfortunate, but I don't know, man. That's my take on it. I gotta go. I got kids to put to sleep and all that, but I'm a fan of yours, and sorry for cursing.
No problem.
Yeah, man, have a good night.
I appreciate the phone call. You are welcome back anytime. Kiss the kids from Troubled Minds fam. Have a great night, brother. Thanks for calling.
All right, man. All right, bye.
Christian in Puerto Rico. There you go. First-time caller. Long-time listener, first-time caller. There you go. If you've never called, Troubled Minds, tonight is your night. And I will be nice to you. Just be nice to me and try not to curse on the radio. And I got your back. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. We'll put you on the show. It's as easy as that. So what about this idea? Again, just having a little fun tonight, talking about calling this conspiracy speculation theater. All right? What does it look like? What does it look like if we do have that alien invasion like we talked about? But I think that's less important because we did do a show on that a ways back, sort of what maybe an actual alien invasion would look like. But back to this article where we started, it definitely got me thinking in terms of, once again, this is from The Verge, and this came out today. Piping hot. It's actually from noon today. This is why they can't keep up with me, because once something comes out on the news cycle and it's compelling, I'm like, bam, we're doing a show on that. That's why they can't keep up with me. All right. AI suggested 40,000 new possible chemical weapons in just 6 hours. 6 hours. Can you believe that? 40,000. And not just 40,000, molecules, chemical weapons, things like this. We're talking about some of the most deadly stuff ever. Meaning if you get just a little bit of it on your skin, like they say about this stuff called VX, all right? If you get just a tiny amount, like not even a traceable amount on your skin, and it's not wiped off immediately, you're dead. That's it. You're in a matter of minutes. You've stopped breathing. Your entire nervous system is shutting down, and that's that. It's a wrap. We're talking about not just deadly, right? We're talking about some really, really, really sick stuff. What's up? Tim says 100 vaccines a minute. That's funny, not funny. That's funny, not funny. But look, this is the thing. So all they did is reverse this AI machine learning and said, okay, instead of avoiding things that are potentially dangerous to people, how about we sort of seek out molecules and changes and new things we could create that are dangerous to people. And they turned it on, and this thing just kept spitting out thing after thing after thing after thing after thing. And of course, right, it alarmed them incredibly how quickly this could be done. And if you go down to the rest of this article, and I encourage you to read these articles, that, again, all the links from the descriptions down below. You'll find them on the podcast feed and also on YouTube as well. But the thing is, the guy says that they were so alarmed that it was so easy that a lot of the information that they used was open source. You could download it for free, these data sets on the internet. And so once they realized what was actually happening and how easily this information was obtainable, they started to freak out a little bit. They're like, so let's not publish the paper. But then I don't know what changed their damn mind, because then they published the paper. Come on now. I don't know. So again, just having some fun tonight, talking about the end of the world, of course. And like I said, if you're doing it properly and you're talking about the end of the world, it's not, hey, vote for this guy, or, hey, sign up to this mailing list, or, you're not trying to, hey, donate to this or that. No, you're thumbing your nose at the universe, and you're beating your chest, and you're howling at the moon, and you're saying, end of the world come get me, right? Because again, it literally, you got to know, we know this. Thinking in terms of like the larger scope of the world and the leaders itself, or whatever we want to call them, the elites or the jerks, the D-bags, whoever they are, right? However you want to define these people, these are the ones that are in control of things. And if they decide somehow, some way to, do something like this and start creating some of these agents, I don't know. I'm not going to go full conspiratorial here because I could, and it'll probably like make you not sleep tonight, and two, it'll probably get us taken off the internet forever, and maybe end up with me in jail. And I don't want to do that because I'm not encouraging anybody to do these things. But what I'm saying is that if they had these free data sets that you could get open source downloaded from anywhere, and then just flip the AI on its head and say, well, let's not try and find cures or new molecules to help people. Let's try and find things to kill people. And boom, boom, talk about efficiency. Boy, turns out it's a whole lot easier to kill people than it is to help people. Weird how that seems to track. It's weird how that seems to track. What are your thoughts? We're talking about 2022 Eschaton Bingo. What is on your card for the end of the world of this year? We're just talking in terms of alien invasion. And of course, like I said, since it is troubled minds, I'm like, okay, so if we have this AI that suggested 40,000 new possible chemical weapons in just 6 hours, like Joe said when he called, what about these quantum computers? What if you leave it on overnight? I mean, we're talking about probably it would count an unbelievable amount of ways to kill people, right? We'd wake up with so many that we would have to hire an army of analysts just to find out what the hell this thing came up with, right? You see what's going on? So the question becomes, if right now we have the ability to do this with our own data sets. 2, what about you add quantum computers to the mix? 3, what if, back to that Independence Day sort of alien invasion. What do you think there'd really be like a boots on the ground alien incursion in that case? I made the case back when we talked about this the first time, that first conspiracy speculation theater. But come on now. Come on, man. They wouldn't bother. Why would they come down here and try and fight us with boots on the ground? That makes no damn sense. Like I said, they could sip green milk like Luke Skywalker did in that one Star Wars. Remember the green milk? Anyway, they could do that. They could totally just do that and then drop a pathogen and just wait. Like hide behind the next comet that comes flying down and just wait. And we'd never know, would we? And things would be very, very bad. So anyway, like I said, a little tongue-in-cheek here. I'm not actually trying to scare anybody, but what is on your 2022 bingo card for the end of the world? Because, of course, we've had murder hornets. We've now had this AI creating 40,000 new possible chemical weapons. And so, of course, I'm calling it, as you would know, because I'm so sick of the fear-based media, weapons of mass disgustion. And is that a word? I don't know. I asked James before we started, James, is this a word? Can I do this? And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm two nights in a row. I'm making up a new word and we're doing it. By the way, just real quick, I did check the Urban Dictionary and it counts. Disgustion means the state of being disgusted or the action or process of being disgusting. There it is. All right. So I'm safe. At least it's in the Urban Dictionary. All right. So in any case, what are your thoughts tonight? Speaking of thumbing our nose at the Eschaton, the end of the world, what is on your 2022 Eschaton bingo card, and what does it mean? Well, I don't know what it means. At least we can laugh. We still have our laughter, and that they cannot steal from us. Love to hear your thoughts tonight. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. We're just, group of friends on the internet, on the radio, talking about the ridiculous ways the world may end. What are your ideas here? As Joe sidled up on his spider, hopped off of the giant spider, and talked about AI creating deadly pathogens at an alarming rate. Well, what is on your mind tonight? 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Don't go anywhere. More of the Cosmic Lab Leak Hypothesis, weapons of mass disgustion, alien invasion, and your thoughts on the Eschaton, the fear-based media in 2022. Don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds and your calls on the way. Be right back. we are talking about the alien abduction phenomenon.
The aliens are looking through your eyes and they're accessing your optic nerve. I'm doing fantastic. Through that optic nerve, they're transferring to your brain. People are random images as they traverse neurons in the brain.
So
and they also feel them planting or receiving memories or ideas or images.
Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. What's going on, guys? This is the show where we get together Monday through Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific, to talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. You know what those things are. Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. Now, of course, as you know me, we do what's called a drink in the maybe juice, considering all the things, not just all that stuff I talked about, but more. And tonight we're considering the idea of your 2020 end of the world bingo cards. We've seen some ridiculous stuff over the last 3 years. Murder hornets, pathogens, you name it. And now, of course, in our face with the media is World War III. Loving to hear your thoughts on this. What do you think some of the most ridiculous stuff you've heard or your most ridiculous predictions for 2022 could be? Reach us at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. We'll put you on the show. And, of course, we're streaming on Rockfin, YouTube, D-Live, and Twitter, broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. Let's go to my good friend, Derek the Night Stalker. What's up, my man? Welcome to Troubled Minds. How are you tonight?
Hey, Mike. Great show tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Just chilling, man. You know, doing crazy stuff per usual. What's on your mind, man?
I'll be fast because I'm not. I don't want people getting sick of me from calling too much.
No, you're good.
Too many hours of Night Stalker. You know?
People love the Night Stalker. You're good. You're good. Give us your thoughts. Take your time. If you have the time, take your time. You're totally good, bro.
It's pretty busy here, so I should probably just be quick anyways. But okay. First, there's actually no beer at the supermarket. In Massachusetts, they don't allow any booze in the supermarket, so we have to have a package store right next door. Pain in the ass.
Okay, but, so we're no longer friends. We're no longer friends.
Yeah, a little fun fact. You know?
Okay. So I used to have these bizarre fantasies about the beer being there because somebody like you is making it happen, but it wasn't you all along, Derek. I'm super mad now.
Everything else besides the beer. Everything
okay,
else.
All right. I forgive you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So as far as a bingo card and stuff, I feel like people mentioned in the chat a bunch the zombie virus, and I feel like people have been talking about the zombie virus basically since the pandemic started. You know, like they love the zombie angle. You know, and I've been like thinking it's not too crazy because like I do remember that face eating stuff and the bath salts and everything, and there were a couple I don't know how legitimate they were, but a few rumors that those were actually not bath salts and they were actually like concocting something that we may or may not be using right now, you know. And but as far as like zombie, like a zombie pandemic kind of, the CDC at the beginning of the pandemic ran a thing, like I guess jokingly or what, it didn't really seem like it, but zombie invasion, a zombie virus protocol thing, like on the CDC website, on the main page, which is pretty ridiculous. And then as soon as we saw those Z's on the tanks over in Ukraine, I'm just like, here we go. Here's a zombie thing. And DC is like running a comic right now called Task Force Z, which is basically like a zombie warfare, pretty much. So I'm like, here we go. Is that? And they predicted the regular pandemic. pretty well before that happened. So I wonder if we're gonna get some kind of zombie battles coming as far as our bingo card is concerned. But it's always portals. My number one thing is always portals and Cthulhu and stuff, and that hasn't happened yet. So.
Okay, so we're going to add, so clearly and obviously portals need to be added to the list. That's always on the list. But so you're adding this World War Z and the zombie apocalypse. We may as well, right? We may as well.
Yeah, you got it. But as far as like them creating like that's what they're doing. They're creating viruses, right? That's the biological weapons and stuff. It's pathogens and viruses and that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, so in this case, it's not quite viral yet. It's
Oh, okay.
But that's the next step, right? Like like Joe was saying with the quantum computers, you could literally just be sort of designer building viruses from scratch, and then just crank them out in the lab, and then here we go again, fasten your safety belts.
Because I was like, I mean, obviously, if they can do that, you would imagine that they'd be able to do the exact opposite. You know, it's weird that they were unsuccessful seemingly to like cure the world of its problems, but in 6 hours they were able to like give us 40,000 times more potentially, which is pretty crazy. Like use that AI power for good, you know. But I asked the virus question because I wonder like how much or how close to life is a virus. Like I looked it up before I called, and it said it's pretty up in the air. Like most scientists say it's not exactly like life, but it's more like an android than it is life, but it is in this weird nebulous zone and stuff. So I wonder if like that's how, like, what if we're the lab leak? What if we're the cosmic lab leak? That some alien, some AI, something like that AI octopus at the center of the galaxy or whatever is tinkering around with some crazy. Oh, what if we made these like things we call people or humans, and they're just this crazy thing, and they build technology and they do all kind of crazy stuff, and they battle with each other, and they can make art and all kinds of stuff. But be careful, we can't let them out. We got to keep them in the lab. And then somebody breaks a vial, and all of a sudden you got people and aliens all over the universe, you know. Or like, what if like it's intentional, and that's how we've talked about that on that octopus episode, the idea of like directed panspermia. And what if like it's clearly extremely easy for these things to create biological weapons that are apparently close to viruses. So what if, like, given more time, given potentially millions of years, it's not that crazy for them to be able to concoct the building blocks of life, and then kind of just like maybe the first wave is sending out a bunch of viruses that will clear the populations on all these planets, and the next wave is like Johnny Appleseed style, the building blocks of life, and if we're dealing with AI, or just an alien that has AI. Yeah, I'm rambling, but what do you think about that?
No,
it's kind of
good.
like the weapons of mass creation a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Like think about now. The craziest part is, I think, in terms of just thinking what a weapon of mass destruction would be like. It's easy to imagine, right? We've seen this. If not firsthand, we've seen videos of this. We see this stuff happening now. We've seen chemical weapons, and and just some really disgusting things happen here on Earth. But one thing we've never done here personally on Earth is a weapon of mass creation, and I think that's a good way to put it. But in your terms, what you're discussing is if it is a cosmic thing, like sort of the idea tonight, is that, well, they could easily do this because you think in terms of our data sets on Earth are so limited. Imagine a cosmic data set. You literally walk up to like some sort of like alien supercomputer, punch in, you want like a turtle with wings and the unicorn horn, and this thing's going to spit out the building blocks to make that happen, and you just shoot it onto some planets. I mean, it seems reasonable that they would have like an unbelievable amount of just like this is child's play, and it's shocking us. Yeah. And they still by the way, they still publish the paper. Like what is that?
Yeah, Jesus, I know, Jesus Louise, yeah. That's crazy. As far I don't want to think about the idea that this will actually be our apocalypse. Like the virus like created by the AI taking us all out is probably my least favorite apocalypse scenario. Like mine all involve giant portals opened or crazy things in the sky or like something cosmic or something like Titanic. Like Cthulhu or giant monsters and stuff. That's the fun apocalypse. That would be quick. And not some painful, long, drawn-out session, but obviously it'd be extremely efficient for an alien, or especially an alien that's like not biological. Like maybe we're dealing with some type of AI and stuff. To just clear. You don't want to like take out the resources of the planet and stuff. You just want to clear out the population. This is like alien warfare 101 type stuff, but just like you would cater to exactly us, to remove exactly us, like you're microsurgerying a planet basically. But also, like, I wonder if the reverse, the same scenario, the creation aspect, that, like, I wonder if it is an AI or something like that, then, like, this is like, assume that it's what we're using with the story you're talking about tonight, and just like way more advanced kind of. So they're like, okay, we're trying to populate the entire galaxy. How are we going to do that? We're in the machine. We're just a super sentient thing. So let's send out these waves, send out these like chemicals and things that we tinkered, and then something will grow, and that's humanity, and humanity will build the technology for us, and then all we got to do is just send another one out, wipe them out, job done, and then we can take over their planet. They built the tech for us. They turned that green and blue orb into a giant metal place, and it's ready for population. I mean, it's ready for invasion. I mean, but I hear my boss, I think, so I gotta sneak out of here quick. But great show, Mike.
Get it, bro. Thanks, man. I'll catch you later. Have a great one, Derek. That's Derek in Massachusetts. He has a YouTube channel. Check it out. Good stuff, The Night Stalker. And he's see that this is how committed Derek is. He's sneaking around from his boss to like call into the radio show. that's how awesome Derek is. Give him some love. He's a YouTube channel. Links in the description. Brilliant dude. He was a co-host last night as we talked about the UFO cults and stuff. And that's what we do. Like I said, this is one of those ones where you can hear me ramble on for hours, or we can just get together and talk about things, and that's what we do. So if you want to be part of the show tonight, still taking your phone calls. This idea of AI suggested 40,000 new possible chemical weapons in just 6 hours. So what happens if you leave it on for 24 hours? Is it just mathematical that it suddenly becomes, let's see, 6 hours times 4 is 24, and then so times 4 would be 120,000 new possible chemical weapons, or no, 160,000, I think. I don't know. Don't do math on a live stream. 702-957-1037. What is on your end of the world eschaton bingo card for 2022? Let's go to, looks like, I think this is, not sure. Welcome to Troubled Minds. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how's it going? I'm from Maine.
From Maine?
Hello?
I hear you. What's your first name? What's your first name?
I'm Aaron.
Okay. Say that again.
Aaron?
Aaron, thank you. All right, Aaron, go right ahead. What's on your mind tonight? Thank you for calling.
I was just thinking about like how the other caller was saying, like the Z Nation, or the if you've ever seen the Netflix Z Nation, that's like they write the Z on. But like back in 2020 when they were doing the virus thing, everybody was in lockdown, and I was in California, and they were actually installing 5G everywhere. They had like trucks up and down the Pacific Coast Highway, and they were basically just installing whatever the 5G is. So I mean, I think it takes time to develop into like a full-time, like a full spectrum zombie, but if you just observe the people around you and like what's happening, I mean, you'll see some people that are just like, they're just walking around like, a lot of them are in fear, but most of them are just, they're not even like, it's just strange to me how people just run around like that, and they're just basically being used for these parasites. And it's like, I think you did a show on the gang stalking thing, but I don't really want to go into that. But while everybody was in lockdown, they were installing 5G. So Z Nation on Netflix, if you ever watched it, it's basically like how they're portraying what's happening in Russia. Like, I don't know exactly why they're doing that, but it's like, I think people are honestly, they're too connected with technology, and it's starting to take a toll on everybody. Because, I mean, if you look at Wi-Fi, like, you can't see it, but it's there.
Yep.
So it's like, how do you, there's an energy there that's you're connecting to, but you can't even see it. So what else is there that we can't see that we're connecting to?
There's an entire thing called a cosmic radiation background that supposedly all these radio signals and everything else from the beginning of time. So not just are there like the cosmic radiations that we're dealing with, we're creating our own radio signals on Earth. Again, like you said, the Wi-Fi. I've talked about this quite a lot in the past. It's like we can't really define how dangerous this is until we've had a generation go through it. And then if everybody gets sick as a result, well, we got a serious problem on our hands because we've kind of passed the point of no return. And we know what happens when something like that begins. We have the health of people versus an industry. And if the industry is so gigantic in those terms, we know who loses. They're not going to change it. They're not going to reform it, at least quickly enough. The people will be the ones paying that price. Yeah, I do like your take on the zombies there, the World War Z in terms of maybe the zombies are already here. Like we don't need any sort of pathogen or weirdness to this because they're like they're going to walk out in front of a bus because they're watching their smartphone. You know what I mean? It's like okay, well that seems pretty zombie-like to me, and I'm pretty sure zombie-like to you as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I know a couple years back I got a hepatitis thing, and it's like when I was sick from that shot I got for hepatitis, it was like I was frozen. Like I couldn't even. There was something in that like I ended up like purging it out, but they've been doing this for a while, and it's just crazy because, like, I don't think people realize, like, I mean, when you look at things like, I don't even know why they do it, but people just, like, go out and they think that they're actually doing something by putting a towel over their face. It's like, I don't get why they think that. It's just common sense. When you put your face over your mouth, you can't breathe. Like, it's not rocket science to know you're suffocating yourself. Like, it just boggles my mind that people are that. And to me, that's a zombie. Like, I don't really see why that's not a zombie. I mean, they won't interact with you. They just, I mean, they're basically psychically attacking you because they're looking at you like you're harming them because you're breathing air, or like, I don't.
How dare you breathe the air? That air is not allotted to you, my friend. You're not. You shouldn't be taking so much air. Fantastic.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, but that's pretty much it. I didn't really have anything else. I don't know exactly what to go into, but
okay,
on the zombie thing, because that's like Z Nation. If you watch that, I mean, you get a pretty good idea of the things they do in that, but that's just the thing you can look into, I guess. I don't know. I mean, Netflix is pretty much, it's strange anyway, so.
Yeah, that's for sure. Aaron, before I let you go, I got a question for you. So if you have to pick one thing that seems the most outlandish, ridiculous, let me say it properly, ridiculous end of the world scenario for 2022, what would it be?
I don't know. I'd probably have to say like a plasma thing, like energy from the sky, or, I mean, the things I've seen in the sky are just insane. Like, I've literally seen an airplane just freeze in midair and just stop above me. And my friend was with me. He's like, "Are you looking at that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know what that is, but planes can't do that."
Nice.
But I think it's probably plasma apocalypse, like something like that. I mean, you can feel the energy now already, in my opinion. So every night it gets like foggy, and during the day there's no fog at all. It's like, where does this come from? It's like Silent Hill type stuff.
Perfect.
I just don't know why it's there, but it's just bizarre.
Amazing stuff.
I think they're getting at you from all angles, you know, like the food, the water, the air, pretty much like every angle. I mean, there's always been zombies because people have been drinking fluoridated water, and they're basically I mean, you can drink fluoridated water and overcome it and still be a relatively like spiritual person and do your own thing, and it won't affect you. You know, you can kind of like mind over matter, but and take herbs, and you know, I think there's a healing mechanism in every aspect of like, if you just look for it, you know, I mean, use your intuition and see what you are drawn to health-wise, because that's the only way out. You have to heal your body, and then through that, you can activate your kundalini, and then you can overcome all this shit that they're trying to do, because at the end of the day, they're just trying to shut down your spiritual system, because that's what matters. When you go to sleep at night, you go into the darkness, and you go into the astral realm, and the physical body is nothing. It's just a flesh vehicle that we use.
Amen. Amen to that. I love where your head's at. Thinking for yourself. I appreciate it. Before I let you go, one more quick question. I fibbed. I got it. One more real quick one before you go. Where did you find the show? How did you find Troubled Minds?
Oh, I think I was researching UFOs, because one night I was out here and I seen a flying orange fireball in the sky. It looked like it landed. So I walked over to the field and there's nothing there, but it looked like it landed. I was like, wow, I've never seen something so exotic and alien. It was just insane. So ever since that happened, I've been researching and just looking for something, that some other experience that somebody had, you know, but I just can't find it.
All right. Well, you're in the right place. Did you find us on YouTube, Spotify?
I mean, the sky is crazy. All you guys do is look up and you'll see stuff.
I say that all the time.
If you're in an area where there's no light pollution, all you got to do is look up and you'll see stuff.
Yeah, there's crazy stuff up
flying around up there. I mean,
I agree.
There's not even, people think they're planets, but they're fucking...
Hey! No cursing on the radio. No cursing on the radio. I gotta let you go, my friend. Aaron.
Satellites.
We're actually on the radio, so you can't curse on the radio. So thank you for the phone call. Let's go. You're welcome back anytime. Thank you for thanks for listening.
It was a small mouth noise. I apologize.
That's okay.
But
Thanks for listening.
All right, have a good one.
Thanks for calling, you too. There you go. Good stuff. I love the first-time callers. Love all the callers. Fantastic stuff there. What's actually happening? What's actually going on with this? You tell me. We got this idea of this AI creating, well, not weapons of mass creation. Yep, you got it. Weapons of mass destruction. And I don't know, 40,000 new possible chemical weapons in just 6 hours created by an AI. What does that mean? Again, so I thought, well, hey, let's add this to our actual Eschaton bingo card, the end of the world. What do you think 2022 holds for us as, let's say, because we're laughing at the cosmic, well, whatever the hell this is supposed to be, the clown world as it's become. And what do you think the most ridiculous thing that's going to be on your 2022 end of the world bingo card should be, or would be? 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Don't go anywhere. More of the cosmic lab leak hypothesis and weapons of mass disgustion when we return. And your calls. Be right back. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we are streaming on Rockfin, YouTube, D-Live, and Twitter, and we are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. Tonight, we're taking your phone calls, of course, as we discuss this idea. AI created 40,000 new deadly pathogens in a matter of 6 hours. You just had to tweak the little machine learning thing and say, hey, let's not try and make, I don't know, cures for people. Let's see how fast and how quickly it could create new molecules that would destroy people. You got it. You want the math? 40,000 new deadly pathogens in 6 hours. Wow. It's almost like it's super easy to just be wrecking things. It's super easy to break things. What did Yoda say? Yoda said something to the effect of, the dark side is not, it's not better. It's just quicker, easier, more seductive, he said. He told Luke Skywalker as he was trying to teach him the things. Well, how does this work? I don't know. You tell me. So I'm calling this tonight because we're doing a little bit of, copy that, James, get you in just a sec. We're doing conspiracy speculation theater tonight. All right. If we have this idea of literally AI making 40,000 new possible chemical weapons in just 6 hours, it got me thinking in terms of, this idea of alien invasion, right? We've talked about this a little bit in the past, but how would this really go down? And this is what I predicted then. I said, look, there's no chance we'd actually fight with aliens if they ever wanted to just take over the world, right? And of course, conspiracy speculation theater, maybe juice, the whole thing. Well, we're just sort of considering that. My take was there's no chance. They just formulate some kind of pathogen that was literally created just to destroy us. They drop it down. They'd sit back and drink some green milk like Luke Skywalker from that terrible Star Wars movie, and they would just do the thing, right? And they just hang out and wait for us to be wiped off the planet, and they could wipe people out like that. Who knows? Hours, days, maybe. I mean, it could be a worldwide super pathogen that would just take everybody out, and then they still have animals. You could engineer this thing to not go after the animals or the flora or the fauna, the actual stuff that's out there that makes the world great. Let's make the world great again. That needs to be a hat. But wait, make the MWGA. See that? There you go. Should it be orange or not? Should it be? I think if it's probably green, maybe. Anyway, so the point being, I'm just trying to trigger people because orange man bad. But the thing is this, right? So the AI suggested 40,000 new pathogens, chemical weapons in just 6 hours. So my point is the aliens would just cut us out with some sort of like perfectly sculpted pathogen in some gigantic alien supercomputer that they have these data sets that are galactic size that they just boop, 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 drop it down and then sit back and drink the green maybe juice. And it's a wrap, right? It's a wrap. And that's what I mean. So this idea, we're talking about Independence Day a little bit from 1996. And that, remember, they beat the aliens with a virus. Jeff Goldblum had the brilliant idea. They had one of their, the craft, an actual, one-man fighter sort of thing, one alien fighter, I guess. And then they, Will Smith flew it, and Jeff Goldblum brought the virus, and they uploaded it to the mothership, and then it went propagated to all the other motherships and brought down their shields, and the rest is history. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day. Still a great speech. But so I don't know. In terms of this, like I said, we're just kind of off the rails tonight per usual and doing our thing. But what do you think? What is all the fear-based media has got me thinking in terms of, well, what would be the most ridiculous end of the world? We've had murder hornets suggested. We've had what? It's literally a new thing every day, and it seems to be ridiculous. And now we have this, an AI creating possible chemical weapons. I don't know, alien invasion. What's your craziest idea for 2022 end of the world eschaton bingo card? 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And this is all tongue in cheek, by the way. I don't really think the world's going to end, so please don't have nightmares. We're just laughing at ourselves and howling at the moon, and that's what this show's about. So there we go. Robert says our pathogens are better than the aliens' pathogens. There we go. We got a different arms race, don't we? All right, so let's go to my good friend James of Salcedo Paranormal. James in Michigan. What's up? Welcome to Trouble Minds. How are you, my man?
I'm good. Great topic.
Thank you. You had the preview. I was. What about? Have you changed your mind on disgustion? Is that a word or not? Why are we doing that?
I mean, it's a word. Anything can be a word, I think, at this point. Like I was saying, just real quick, language has changed so much over time. It's always changing, and there's people from different parts of the world are always going to other parts of the world, and that's going to change things. I think words are just whatever we want or need them to be.
There you go. And I agree with you. I've said that since I was young, and made up words to the point it pissed my brother off so much. He's like, he'll still say that to me. He'll be like, Mike, what does that even mean? I'm like, do you really want me to explain? And he just starts chasing me. Wow. But okay, anyway, I derailed you to start. What's on your mind tonight, man? What about this? You like the idea of the cosmic lab leak hypothesis as maybe the my ridiculous 2020 Eschaton bingo card has this on it. What do you say?
So this reminded me, as so many of these topics usually do, it reminded me of a story I heard on a podcast about paranormal unexplained experiences or events. So if you have some little bit of time, I can tell you this story real quick.
Totally. Go right ahead.
And I think you'll see why when I'm done. So this caller, or this person that called into this one show, he was a policeman, police officer, and he got called. I can't remember if he had a partner or not, but basically he got called to investigate some random guy basically hiding out in the bushes on near an underpass, and just kind of appearing to almost threaten vehicles as they were going by. So they were called to go and check it out and stop this guy from doing this. And so this officer responded and got there, and the guy did not make any sense. Basically, just was muttering gibberish. Couldn't even make out words. It was basically he had really sharpened teeth, also, which is odd. But the odd thing about at the very end of the story is that obviously the cops managed to restrain this guy, and then they called in the ambulance. Ambulance gets there, takes the guy, and they go away. Well, of course, there's paperwork that happens when you call an ambulance, as this guy was describing in the story. So this cop went to do the paperwork and called the local hospitals and everything, could not find the ambulance that this guy had been picked up by.
What? Like it was like an X-Files kidnap situation? It wasn't a real ambulance? It was something like that?
And it was something like that where he didn't even remember seeing a license plate on the thing. And he said, when he looked back on it, the guys that were that came in the vehicle didn't even act like regular, I guess regular first responders did. Like their demeanor was different or strange.
That's
and
weird.
And this just makes me think of this idea of a lab leak like that. If you scale that up to, aliens releasing whether it's pathogens or, creating something that creates zombies or whatever, I wonder if that could explain some of what people experience, where it's almost like they see, craft or even beings that seem to be there to clean up a mess, or to get rid of evidence of something, or and it just makes you wonder about that whole aspect of everything.
Yeah, so interesting that that's how it would work, right? Yeah, like Dave says in the chat, Men in Black ambulance. And they did that. If you recall, I don't know if you've watched a ton of the X-Files, but they did do that with Scully was in the hospital, something like that, or she had an accident. They were going to take her to the hospital, but they pulled her in, and it was not an ambulance at all. It was they caused the accident. As she got hurt, they pulled up, and they just slung her in and basically kidnapped her to take her away to the. And who knows if there's some kind of pathogen released. And some guy gets out again, but we're talking about World War Z or The Walking Dead or the zombie apocalypse. How would you contain that, right? You would have to do something like that. Scary stuff, man. That's pretty wild. Where did that story come from again?
It was another podcast. I think it was. See, I can't remember now. It was one of Jim Harold's. It might have been his Campfire series. I'm not sure. He has several different podcasts.
Okay, gotcha.
But
that's good.
I don't remember that episode now, but
I'm not going to twist your arm for the episode and the time you listened to it. Where, James? Where were you on the night of October 26, 1994? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
No, I'm terrible with the. I was whenever I talk about my own experience, I was like, okay, first off, I can't tell you what day this happened. I'm sorry, just not happening. You know.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So, you're safe there. So okay. So what about this idea of this cosmic lab leak? Then, right? We talked about the crazy part. I love the terms that come from the chat. Right? The weapons of mass creation. How come that never happens? How come we're never talking about that? It's always the opposite, isn't it?
Well, because when you're creating things, that's more work to deal with them all. I think. When you're destroying things, they're gone. So there's less to deal with after. Of course, when you're talking about lives, obviously that's not a good thing. But just in terms of a strategic, or if you want to be really just focus on just the operations or the logistics or all that makes sense in a way.
It seems to, right? It seems to. I don't know. And I think the thing is, right, like if we had talked about this exact thing probably, let's say 3 years ago, let's say let's time travel a little bit and say this exact audience was here 3 years ago and we talked about this exact thing, we'd be, it'd be a lot more funny. But then we've had this whole COVID thing this past couple of years, and so it used to be that every little thing that popped out, I used to say before all of it, I'd be like, look, a bird flu, look, it's a swine flu, look, it's a this, it's that, it's a mad cow disease, it's a this, that, the other thing, right? And I kept saying, I was saying then, look, guys, like this stuff is not good because all it takes is one little something in those like pathogens or viruses or whatever's actually going on out there for something to become really bad. And so now, like, I'm at the point, I'm over it. I'm totally over it. I'm over it. And it's just like, you know what? Stop, right? But it definitely has kind of, let's say, taken roost in our psyche, right? Like I think that it's less funny now. It's like, wait, so we've had a taste of this now, and now we're literally, I don't know, on the precipice of more. like I hope not. God, I hope not. But right, like how long? Like Bill Gates is like, oh, it's going to happen once more in our lifetime, right? Like that's what Bill Gates is already saying. You're like, bro, get out of here. We ain't even over the last one. Shut up, right? Like, by the way, Bill Gates, you're not a doctor. Can we all acknowledge that Bill Gates is not a doctor? Anyway, go ahead, James. I baited you on this one. Let's see if you can dodge this deftly. Go right ahead, sir.
Well, it's funny. Earlier in the chat, Cal, friend of your show and mine, mentioned, does this seem like almost like propaganda to anyone? This idea that this information is released and it's almost like a. This is me saying this now, but it's almost like a warning. Like, hey, we made this AI that made all of this. And that's, but I mean, even if it's true, it's terrifying. If it's not true, that's quite the thing to say.
Yeah, exactly. And if you could, and I think the craziest part too is like we kind of blend the line between, sort of the real world and the paranormal world and then the science fiction world and, sort of some speculation about what's coming in the future based on what we've seen in the past. We're kind of in that ish level of conversation here. And once you start tossing some of this stuff into that, what if this is that AI threat that's been discussed for a very long time? And they're like, hold my beer. You want to see how fast I can explain to you how fast we would wreck you? We being, I don't know, let's call them Legion or something. See what I did there?
Yeah. Or as we've also talked about before, what if AI is really just other beings from other dimensions, and that's what is working through the AI or working through the computers to make all this, and it's it's also kind of seeing what it can do, when quote unquote allowed to. Maybe it's not even showing all what it can do, but it's just working within the parameters of what the instructions it's given while acting as supposedly artificial intelligence, and it still manages to make that. How intelligent does that make whatever that is?
Exactly. And so again, back in terms of like the whole data set stuff. So this is just a real world data set you can download for free. It's open source about chemical compounds. That's what it is, right? And like some are dangerous and some are not, and some help this and some help that, right? And it's how they're trying to make good medicines. And so don't get me wrong, right? They're using this for the good stuff. But the second, right, the good stuff comes hard, but the bad stuff came incredibly fast and easy. That tells you a lot about what you need to know. Oh, geez. So yeah, I don't know. Let's hope this doesn't become, let's say something. I'm not putting this one in particular on my bingo card. I'm calling it a actual alien pathogen. That's what I want to see. I want to see that. I want to see the actual cosmic lab leak hypothesis. And let's say that like some people have suggested the aliens are benevolent. Maybe it is a weapon of mass creation. How about that? How about that, James? Let's go positive. Let's put that on our bingo card for how it ends. It becomes the Star Trek future of the post-scarcity world. What do you think about that?
Anything positive is always good. I mean, we need. There's not enough of that in evident, at least in the world these days, with everything that we're shown. I do think it's out there. I do think there are great people out there doing great things. We just don't hear about them because that's not what the media thinks will sell.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I'm laughing tonight a little bit and just having fun with this because, like when else can you talk about the end of the world and laugh? Well, when you're on Troubled Minds, because not that I don't take the world seriously or life seriously or any of the rest of this seriously, I really distrust the media, and all they want to do is make us afraid because, as you know, as we've talked about so much on this show, fear is control, and I hate it. I reject it. It makes me angry. Yep. And it has inspired many shows that I've done. And you can tell when I'm super fired up. A couple nights ago, I think I was super fired up. Robert's like, you can't go to sleep on this show. But tonight, I'm just it's like, come on, like at some point, guys, like can we just stop? Can we just stop with all the like bleak madness of AI creating a new pathogen and 40,000 of them in 6 hours? That's ridiculous. How's that math work out? If you leave it on for a week, James, how many pathogens do they come up with?
Oh, you're asking me to do math? I don't do math.
Yeah, I don't do that either.
I do words.
All right.
Spoken and written, like I can do those okay. Sometimes. All right. But math, not so much.
All right. Same here.
It's a lot. I'll give you that much anyway. It's
a lot. And again, like Joe said when he called in the first segment there, is that we have this situation of actual, well, this isn't even like quantum computers running these data sets. This is just like imagine what a quantum computer could do in 6 hours. Oh, geez. All right. Well, there we go. Hopefully, I'm with you, James. Let's look to the future and say positive. Let's say, let's hope for something positive. Any other thoughts on this? Do you have any maybe Marvel connections or anything else? Like we talked about Independence Day and how they defeated the aliens with an actual computer virus, and then also Night Stalker noted in the chat that War of the Worlds, they also beat them with a virus as well. Anything that maybe kind of correlates to any of that War of the Worlds type stuff with viruses and maybe combat like this? And if you don't, that's okay. Just curious if something comes to mind.
No, not so much combat. No. I mean, and not involving any kind of aliens. The zombie thing, yes, there's plenty of, video game series and movie series based on the idea of a lab leak that, leads to this creation of zombies. But yeah, not so much the rest of it.
Fair enough. All right. Anything else to my man tonight?
No, that was. But it's been fun listening to all the calls. Great calls as always, and looking forward to that last hour.
Sounds good. James here's a good friend of mine. James in Michigan. He has a podcast called Salcedo Paranormal. Links in the description. Check it out. He does paranormal talk. He's doing book reviews. He was talking about Lovecraft earlier tonight. And he goes 5 nights a week at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Come say hi. Come join it. Come follow him. Come download some of his podcasts. And just come say hi. He's every bit as magnificent as he seems, just like all the rest of the folks who contribute to Troubled Minds. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks for being you. Thanks for putting up with my BS. I appreciate it a lot.
No problem. Have a good night.
You too, James. Thank you very much. All right. There we go. We're going to keep on doing this, keep on trucking. We got a few minutes left here. If you want to squeak in a phone call, 702-957-1037. I don't know. Like, this is the thing, right? Back to this same thing, right? How come there's a such thing as a weapon of mass destruction? But like said in the chat early on, I'm not sure who said it. Sorry, I didn't cite you. Why don't we have weapons of mass creation? What's going on here? How come we don't have weapons of mass, let's say, defense? I don't know. Like it's like, I guess, I don't know. Maybe those two things aren't compatible. But I'm just sick of hearing about the end. I'm just sick of hearing about the end of the world. I'm sick of hearing about the fear. I'm sick of hearing about pathogens. I'm sick of hearing about nuclear war. I'm sick of hearing about, and the reason I brought this up too, and this really made the connection in my mind, was again, so we went from the whole Ukraine thing to nuclear war to now they're like, okay, well, if we keep pressing nuclear war, people are going to stop watching because they're going to be sick of this crap. And then they're like, oh, I know. The next best thing is, well, we'll start pressing chemical weapons now. It's like what? Like, why? Like, is this really the reality we're in, or is this, again, you can't believe a damn thing anybody tells you on the news, and it pisses me off quite a lot. And that's literally what's inspired me to do this show, because I'm just sick of the propaganda. I'm sick of the lies. I'm sick of the leaks. I'm sick of the people trying to tell us this, that, and the other thing, and when none of it's true at all. Anyway, I'm a little disgusted, but even so, I think it's fun to laugh at ourselves. I think it's fun to consider, well, what is on your bingo card for 2022, for the eschaton, the end of times? What's the most ridiculous thing you've heard in the last 2 years? Or what do you think is the most ridiculous thing you can come up with, or we could hear in the next year or two? I don't know. This is mine. I'm going to go with it. We're going with again, remember, we couldn't talk about the lab leak hypothesis. We did before it was cool, way back in January 2020. Then, of course, they made it not okay to say it because it was racist in the summer of 2020. And then in 2021, sometime they decided, well, there's some merit to that discussion, and so you're allowed to say it again. I'm tired of all that. At some point, can we just talk to each other and not speak in code and not try and, you know what I'm talking about. It rhymes with this word. It rhymes with, it seems like that. Can we stop? Can we please stop? YouTube, I'm talking to you. Amazon, I'm talking to you. Twitch, you know who I'm talking to. Facebook, I'm talking to you. Come on, guys. Why? Again, think about who you're protecting. It's not me. It's not us. It's not the people that matter the most and the people that watch your videos, by the way. All right, let's get the hell out of here. So it is Troubled Minds Friday, which means, well, it's Thursday. And so I'm going to smash the outro button, and we're going to do this. It goes a little something like this. If you're listening to us on The Fringe FM, stay tuned for Joe Roop Lighting the Void. If you're listening to us on any other platform, including the podcast feed, stay tuned for a third hour of Troubled Minds where we take your phone calls. We keep on doing this. We keep talking about crazy stuff, because if we don't, who's going to? Who is going to? I don't have the answers. I have the questions. Hopefully you can help me with some of that. There you go. So as we finish, if you want to help the show spread the word, good old-fashioned word of mouth beats the algorithms. Wink, wink, you know what I'm saying? So it ends like this. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. All right. We're going to keep on doing this. It is Troubled Minds Friday, which of course means it's Thursday night, which means there's no Troubled Minds tomorrow night. But what we're going to do is we're still taking your phone calls. What are your ideas here? What's the most ridiculous 2022 end of the world bingo? What's it look like? Still doing another hour. If you guys are interested, we're still going to do this. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. I'll say hi to the chat in just a sec. And what's going on, guys? We got lots of folks here. Rude says, how you doing? Rude, R-O-O-E-D, over on Rockfin. I see this. Says, I think my 5 friends and I, were responsible for all the updated security at the Guidestones. We peed on it in the early 90s. High five to that. Do I low five that? I think that's weird. Maybe I don't low five. High five. Nice. What's going on, guys? Robert says, why would the aliens want to kill us when we're doing such a good job of it ourselves? Asking for a friend. There you go. What's going on, guys? Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. We're still going to do a third hour Trouble Minds. We're not going anywhere. So we're still doing this. What's your idea of the most ridiculous end of the world scenario? What's on your bingo card that will be on nobody else's bingo card for 2022? And what does it look like? I'm going with this tonight. I'm going because I thought it sounded so ridiculous. The cosmic lab leak hypothesis. And as Night Stalker said, maybe the actual lab leak is us. Maybe we are that dangerous pathogen that's here on Earth, causing the problems. Maybe it's us. Maybe it is us. All right. So love to hear your thoughts on this. And of course, weapons of mass disgust, as Bailey said. I'm calling it Disgustion because it kind of rhymes with destruction and kind of makes the point a little bit better because we're just making shit up now. We're just making shit up now, just like the mainstream media is just making shit up now. Right? There you go. All right. So we're going to take a 2-minute break. We're still taking your phone calls if you want to be part of this discussion. Like I said, basically the third hour is for you. You've heard me ramble on and tell you what I think. If you guys aren't interested, I'll just shut it down and go play video games because, well, I got things to do too. So, this third hour is for you. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link, troubledminds.org, and let's do it. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break, and here we go. Right? This is there. Let's go there. All right, don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds on the way. Going to go get some more maybe juice. We're doing it. It is Troubled Minds Friday, which means Thursday night. No Troubled Minds tomorrow night, so fuck it. And by the way, we're off the radio, so which means if you drop an F-bomb, I'm not going to bark at you. I just did it. You can do it too. Not like I'm encouraging that. It could be a family show. It could be, but it doesn't have to be. It does have all the explicit language, marks all in all the right places. So in any case, just please don't get us taken down by talking too much about the pathogens that be. Be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way, taking your calls, looking at your ideas. We'll get into more of this because there's always more. Be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we are streaming on Rockfin, YouTube, D-Live, and Twitter, and we're taking your phone calls tonight. What do you think? What about this idea of, you got it, the cosmic lab leak hypothesis? And of course, it's also tongue-in-cheek. I'm laughing at myself. I think it's a little ridiculous, but also, why not? How has the last several years not been ridiculous, just in terrestrial terms? We may as well make this extraterrestrial ridiculous, because why the hell not? If we're not doing, like I said, if we're not doing it, who's doing it? 702-957-1037. We're talking about this idea tonight of this. Yeah, you got it. Hey, this is from TheVerge.com. I'm going to reset this and get your thoughts. If TheVerge.com says, AI, artificial intelligence, suggested 40,000 new possible chemical weapons in just 6 hours. Yep. For a quote, for me, the concern was just how easy it was to do. And if you read the article down here, and it's a nice interview with the individual that led the team here, he says that he was concerned because it was super easy to do, meaning that a lot of the data sets they used were actually public source, open source, public information. You could download these data sets they were using, and then of course all you had to do was have some knowledge of Python coding and be able to tell it what to look for, and of course, boom, You get 40,000 new possible chemical weapons in just 6 hours. And here's the terrifying part, right? The AI came up with tens of thousands of new substances, some of which are similar to VX, which is the most potent nerve agent ever developed. Shaken, the individual, so they published their findings this month in the journal Nature Machine Intelligence. So they did. They published it. So hey, instead of kind of just dropping this into the whatchamacallit and saying that this is not going to be a thing, they published it, right? Sort of giving people some ideas, I guess, right? Yeah, no, this is fine. I'm sure this is fine. This is totally fine. Yeah, Matt says the fact that they let her run for 6 hours is terrifying. yeah, you can't even, that's true. You can't even like if you're like, hey guys, all right, let's let it run and we'll go have lunch and come back. And you're like, wow, it's got 8,000, things it's already done. No, they let it run for 6 hours. You're completely right. And then they publish the article, and he addresses that in here, kind of like saying, like if they didn't do it, like somebody was going to do it and not publish it, they were going to kind of keep it under the wraps and say something to the effect of, like it'll happen, like somebody out there will do this. And so I think part of the problem is it's like when you find something horrific like that, it's like if you don't, sort of like I guess the argument goes, and this is an interesting argument too that we can talk about tonight as well. So what if you did develop the A-bomb, the first nuclear weapon, the atom bomb, whatever? What if you did, right? So do you shelve that and bury it and say like it never happened, or do you wait for somebody else to do it that's worse than you, right? And meaning worse than you in that cares less about human life and the future of humanity. So you know what I mean? I think so. In terms of that, I'm kind of just crapping on it a little bit, them doing this, but I think maybe in the longer term, I think it's probably right to release it. I think it is, because what happens if this didn't? Like I said, the last 2 years has been pretty horrific for a lot of people, and so we're not even talking about things that will instantly kill you if you get like a drop on your skin, and that's what we're talking about here. So that's pretty horrific stuff. What's up, Tam Bam Subs? I love all these new people on Rockfin. Hi people. Hi. I agree. I love all of you guys out there. Thanks again for making this great. Like I said, let's make the world great again. All right, so just kicking it, just talking about all kinds of stuff. Let's go to I'm not exactly sure who this is. You're on Trouble Minds with Mike. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Hi.
Test 1 2. You're on Trouble Minds. Are you there? Hello? I cannot hear you. If you're talking to me, I cannot hear you.
Hello.
There you go. What's going on? What's your first name? Where are you calling from? I can hear you now.
Yeah. I didn't even think I was going to get through, but since I did get through, what was the subject again? What was the...
That was artificial intelligence suggesting 40,000 new possible chemical weapons in just 6 hours. And then on top of that, what is your most ridiculous take? If the world is ending in 2022, what's the most ridiculous thing you're going to put on your bingo card for your guess? I'm saying this happens, but from the aliens. If we can do 40,000 new possible weapons in 6 hours with our AI, I think the aliens could do 10 billion in like a second. What are your thoughts? What's your first name, by the way?
First name is Victor.
Victor.
That's a lot of numbers.
That's a lot of numbers. So I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about the end of the world, about this fear mongering? What about all this stuff? What are your thoughts on any of this? All of it is non-linear, open-ended. Whatever your thoughts are is great.
I think we're some sort of I think we're a virus in some ways. I'm not trying to put down humanity, but I don't know if you guys, I think I heard it from this show, that in the future, maybe we, or they, whoever survives in the future, the atoms, they're not going to be, The atoms, they're not real. I mean, we're not here. We're, how do you say it, man? Like the atoms, you know how when I sit down on the chair, I'm not touching the chair, even though I feel it because I am a human and I feel things, but the atoms are not touching and they don't exist.
Yeah, so like most of
Therefore, I don't exist.
Okay. Go ahead.
Therefore, I don't exist, and nothing exists per se. So then, in the future, the waste, whether it's plastic or feces or whatever, anything that's matter or atoms or whatever is that the matter won't matter because it doesn't exist.
Right. So I guess the question is sort of a larger cosmic musing. Or are we even here at all? And does any of this matter?
I mean, it does matter because we feel it right now because we're physical, but at the same time, it's like a timeline. It's like the infinite. There's no beginning. There's no end. It's just infinite. Therefore, there's no matter. There's no atoms. You know, it's like we don't exist, but we do feel stuff. I mean, there's stuff. The stuff is going on. You know, we feel it. But another question is are we going to come back? Are we the reincarnation? You know, is it real or is it not? When we die, where are we going to go when we die? Are we just like kind of like the Matrix movie where we're just being I don't know if this is a word, but filtrated through some type of system that we don't know, and then we're either human or monkey or possum or bird or just like a table in the next lifetime. You know, I don't know. It's like, are we being recycled memories? You know, the infinite. Like I could look at anything. I could look at the wall and make art out of it or see faces. The pareidolia. Yeah, I think you talked about it, and I didn't even know that was a thing. But I see. I have experimented with things, marijuana and mushrooms, and and even before that. Are you still there?
I'm listening. Yep, I'm listening to you. Yeah, I think that there's a lot to what you're talking about here, and we're literally. I like where your head's at because you're getting to the nature of reality, right? I love it. So I don't know. Like you said, it does matter to us because we feel it, but then also in some point, the space between the atoms, we also don't. It's not there, right? Sort of that our whole body's empty space and the rest of that, but it still doesn't account for our consciousness, does it? Like that becomes something else entirely. And here's a point of example in that. So let's say we have an object. Let's say we all grew up and had a favorite toy or something. Let's say your bike. My first bike, right? Mm-hmm. So I broke it at some point, or I outgrew it at some point. But still, that bike went to a landfill or got donated to somebody else or whatever, wherever. I don't even know where that ended up. But I loved it because it was my first bike, right? And so even though that bike is gone from my consciousness, I still remember that bike, right? I can tell you it was this beautiful color of orange. And again, I'm not going to tell you why I love the color orange because I'm going to get called racist because you can't even talk about anything anymore, right? But point being is that I remember it. And so it's still in my consciousness, right? Because I remember this object. So even though this object may be in a landfill and rusted out or become dust now, for all I know, it still is remembered. And so our consciousness has the ability to, for instance, if somebody passes away, to take it to the next level. Do we, by remembering them, actually keep them alive somehow? Because we remember them with our own consciousness. You see what I'm saying? So like what you're saying, I'm with you, but I think everything we're talking about sort of takes a whole nother level, doesn't it?
Yes. I think everything's infinite. And like, I was listening to one of your shows earlier, where I don't know who, I can't remember the names, but you guys were talking about trees and how they can feel things or whatever. But not only that, but everything. Even we're in the third hour. But I don't like to curse, but even the feces. You know, it might sound crazy, but sometimes I'm taking a piss or I take a doo-doo and I look back at my doo-doo and I'm like, oh, it looks like a face, like I just shit it out of
Victor, are you seeing Jesus?
Like,
are you seeing Jesus in your doo-doo?
No.
Okay, I'm glad you laughed.
Not like tortillas. No, not like that. But I mean, but yeah, like I see faces everywhere, man. There's pareidolia. You know, like I can look at anything, and it's like it is really funny because it's like I didn't know that there was a word for this stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
you
yeah.
know, but it's like you can literally look at anything and like your socks, or you wake up and you look at. I have dreams and then I wake up and I look at my whatever at the roof or the ceiling, and there it is, a freaking face, you know. And I'm like, I'm not even surprised anymore. Before I used to get scared because I used to think like, oh, demons are after me, but no, there's not. It's not like that. It's just I think everything's alive. I don't feel it, of course, because I'm in this world, in the physical world, and I have I'm limited to everything. But I don't know. I'm just excited about the afterlife.
Yeah. Hold on though. Let me tell you also, Victor. Let's not be too excited, because I think my take is we're here for a reason. I think part of this discussion may be part of that reason, and I don't want to like elevate it too much, but I think that if it spreads, right, like I've always said, that in general terms, I don't think, you know, any one person is here to like change the world, right? I don't think they are. But if you get a network of people that can sort of spread ideas, and hey, and like we don't have to hate each other. We have more in common than we have, you know, reasons to be different. In those types of ideas, those ideas don't die, right? And it's not new ideas. Like I always say on this show, we're standing on the shoulders of giants. We are not actually creating new thoughts here. We're just sort of saying, hey, look, some of these old thoughts have some merit, and let's keep them alive. Don't let them be suppressed. Don't let YouTube crush under their foot. You know, let's talk about this stuff. But hopefully this conversation and us here tonight and tomorrow and the next day, God willing, actually have the ability to possibly inspire somebody somewhere down the line, maybe a generation, that actually does change the world. You know, I truly believe that. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here doing it. I think it's a good thing. I think kind of bouncing ideas off of each other and just think, you know, again, not taking ourselves too seriously. Thank you for laughing at the Jesus joke. That I thought it was pretty funny, so I couldn't help myself. I know it's probably offensive to some people, but I thought it was hilarious. But I don't know. I think in some terms, right, like, good conversations are ideas, and ideas never die. And as a result of that, I think that if we prop up the right ones, we're doing a good work. What do you think?
Yeah. What do you call it? I was going to say something about Jesus. I'm not a Christian, but I'm trying to be a Christ follower. I just don't know that. I think that's impossible to be a real Christian. But I was thinking about something else. What do you call it? Maritime. I think you should do a subject about maritime law.
Okay, sure. Explain how or why.
Because of the thing that it's just a lot of the logos, or the way that we are, the way that this world runs things is through Saturn. or something like that. I was looking into it. I'm new to the subject.
Okay.
Because I'm still trying to find out what's going on, and I'm ignorant to a lot of stuff. But it's through Saturn, and I think the way we run things is through Saturn or the maritime law.
Okay. All right. Sweet. I do like, so the symbology of what that sort of, we can go a little bit of Neptune, Poseidon type stuff, and maritime law is symbology and mythology. I love it, bro. You're in the right place. You are definitely in the right place. We got another minute or two for you. What's your final thought here tonight? Thanks for finding us. Thanks for listening. Thanks for calling back. I know you called us once before, and I do recognize you from that. So thank you for being part of this. What's your final thought here, my friend?
Just keep calling and saying what you feel, and keep speaking your mind.
Amen, brother. Amen, brother.
And have a great night.
You too. Appreciate that very much. That's Victor in California. You're welcome back anytime. Thanks for the phone call. There you go. Easy as that. The third hour is for you. And this is why we do it, right? Again, the radio timing's a little weird because we got to cut people off and stuff. And that's literally why why we've done the third hour. We don't have to, never have to, but nobody tells us when to stop. And I think that's the thing. I think it's, I just felt weird sometimes in the early days of not doing a third hour because we would, cut off some people because of timing or this, that, the other thing, and then we wouldn't have a third hour, right? So it just didn't make sense to me to not do this, because if people have more things to say, we have time for them. And I think that's part of what this has always been about, just a discussion. So what are your thoughts tonight? Good stuff from Victor there. I think that was, yeah, exactly. Jennifer, great call, Victor. Super fire emojis, and I agree, that was great stuff. So what are your thoughts on this? Again, I do like the where his mind's at. He's like, hey, I'm just trying to figure it out too. But I do also appreciate that he laughed, and sorry if I offended people with the Jesus and the poo joke. It was just it just came. Sorry. So again, please don't take it that way. It's just sometimes I have to say stupid things and laugh at myself, and so there we go. That qualifies as probably the dumbest thing I've said all year. So all right, just saying. But okay, so in any case, I'd love to hear your thoughts. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubleminds.org. We'll put you on the show. It's as easy as that. What are your thoughts tonight? We're talking about this Eschaton bingo card for 2022. If the world ends in the most ridiculous way this year, what's your prediction? That's what we're doing tonight. Real quick, I want to talk about this too. Speaking of predictions and how I got to this Eschaton business here. So not just, sorry, let's go. I got more. Like I said, I always got more. Check this out. So we started here. AI suggested 40,000 new possible chemical weapons in just 6 hours. Okay, well, check this out. We got this. Here's a quote from an article about it. The MIT predicted the end of humanity in 1973, and here's the thought from this article. It's like this: time after time, you'll find people are reacting to a problem. They think they know what to do, and they don't realize that what they're doing is making a problem. This is a vicious cycle, because as things get worse, there is more incentive to do things, and it gets worse and worse, right? And so, point being, this here, for example, and I think this is probably like the idea of the definition of insanity, right, in politics, and how sometimes there are problems that don't need to be fixed, all right? But they're like, oh, we got to do something, so let's fix this because it's easy to fix. But then by fixing it, they cause another problem, right? so we have this circular, vicious spiral of just garbage on top of garbage on top of garbage. But anyway, just wanted to point this out as the idea, that kind of the addendum idea to this. Oh, by the way, we just created these 40,000 new possible chemical weapons in 6 hours. This is fine, right? This is totally fine. All right, but also check this out. Speaking of eschaton and eschatology and the 2020 bingo cards and all the ridiculous shit we've been talking about tonight. Yeah, you didn't think I had more, did you? I sure do. How a computer from MIT predicted the end of humanity in 1973. The software used is called World 3 System, and it predicted that the world will come to an end provoked by humanity in the year 2040. Super weird. All right, let's just read a little bit of this. Let's see. let's see. Although other theories do suggest that whatever or whenever this end of the world may come, it will be man-made. The same goes for the software from 50 years ago named World 3, created by MIT students to originally predict how the world will look in the future from a statistical perspective. What this first-generation artificial intelligence showed scared the world, but not enough to actually make a drastic change. All right. Anyway, here we go. Incredible software for its time, blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Okay. All right. World 3 was a development of the original software World 1 system, created by J. Wright Forrester, known to many as the pioneer of computer engineering from MIT, as well as a great system scientist. One hypothesis of this research was to predict what the future of worldwide growth looked like based on the fact that Earth has limited resources. The researchers tried to see how soon would the world end up chewing through all of the Earth's resources based on the statistics presented in the Western world during the 1970s, such as, here's some examples. Number 1, world population growth. 2, rate of innovation. The growth of consumerism. Usage of resources that don't regenerate, rate of industrial production, rate of pollution, growth of agriculture, and other less significant factors. And interestingly, they had this club. And check this out. It's called the Club of Rome. It's a private organization formed in 1968 by, wouldn't you know it, high-level politicians from around the world whose interest, check this out, was to predict the future in order to financially capitalize on it, although they promoted that they wanted to see how the industry will affect the environment. Oh. I guess somebody is maybe kind of considering that. That's fine, right? I guess that's fine. But in any case, all of the scientists who participated in this research with the Club of Rome, by the way, the Club of Rome, I think that's an accident, all of those scientists who participated in this research were excited to see a bright future within the results, but what they saw actually scared them as environmental scientists. The world seemed to reach its peak in all the categories mentioned above in the year 2020. And this was written in a book called The Limits to Growth by Donna Meadows in 1973. But 2020 was the peak. 2020 was it. No more after that. Everything was decline in a super fast way. 2020. Weird. Let's go back to 2020 and think about what happened in January of 2020. Interesting prediction. Anyway, I digress there for just a sec. The results were publicly published in a book written by 4 scientists entitled The Limits to Growth, which was immediately criticized after being published for presenting inaccurate data and the system used being wrong. Oh, was it wrong? This was more of the Western society's response towards wanting to neglect any possibility of the results being true. But as we can see today, they are very close to being true, says this article. This is again from, let me mark my place here. This is from, what is this from? This is from The History of Yesterday, which is, I'm becoming more and more to love this website because it talks about the real dope. Still looking to hear from you guys tonight. This is why I got on the Eschaton kick, because of this as well. How the MIT computer predicted the end of humanity in 1973. That's what the computer was predicting then, right? Now, what are the computers doing? Yeah, that's right. In just 6 hours, they're creating 40,000 new possible chemical weapons. Holy shit. Okay, anyway, all right. Let's keep on trucking with this. We'll mark my place because, yeah, there you go. I've done this once or twice. A major prediction that was right in the system calculating a variable that was very criticized back in the day. This considered that climate change, really? All right. What about this chemical weapons and AI, and what about nukes, and what about, anyway, just asking. This considers that climate change was caused by humans, blah, blah, blah. Looking at the results today, it is very strange how the software predicted a peak in 2020, just at the start of the pandemic, as if it knew a pandemic would take place. And that is my point. It's like, wait, what? Did this actual computer from 1973, by the way, the first thing is, did computers even exist in 1973? They're telling us they did. I wasn't alive in 1973. Were you? Were you using computers in 1973? Is anybody out there been alive long enough to know if they were using computers in 1973? Just a question. In any case, factors such as a natural lack of resources, lack of food, or ability to develop agriculture are caused by climate change, they say, which is a product of constantly polluting the world for decades. So is it pollution or... Anyway, in any case, here you go. Here's their little graph. I'm going to full screen this and looking to hear from you guys. If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. Thanks, James. Somebody in the caller queue in Discord. We'll get to in just a sec. All right, let's do that. And so you tell me. 1973... computers at MIT predicting the end of humanity in 2040. You think it's interesting that there's an agenda 2030? Do you think that we're literally, I don't know, on a high-speed train to wherever the fuck we're going? It certainly seems like, I don't know, something's afoot here. Something's afoot. You tell me. 702-957-1037. Let's go to Jay. Jay in New York. What's up, brother? Welcome to Troubled Minds. Are you there? Test 1 2.
Yes.
1, 2. Hey.
Good evening, Mike.
Hey, I'm talking here. How are you, bro? How are you doing?
I'm fantastic.
Right, man.
I was alive in 1973.
Okay. All right.
They did have computers.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, one of my guys that used to work for me, he was quite a bit older than me. They used to carry those things in, like, teams of 8 at a time. Could barely do what your phone does. They were huge, They made them here in IBM.
Okay, all right. I mean, I knew that. I was just being funny. But how come a computer in 1973 is predicting the end of the world in 2040? What the fuck is going on with that?
Well, it probably wasn't tracking where the computer was going and deciding what kind of ads it wanted to give to the software writer, so it had a lot, more stuff that it could do. It probably was, single based, but I don't know. I think that that's what they use them for. I mean, that's what computers were built to do, was to keep track of time and people and stuff like that. IBM was International Business Machines. They built time clocks. It wasn't even really a computer. It's just really odd how much we've changed in that little bit, But MIT bought one, got granted one, told them to give it for a run or everything else like that. And that's what they tried to make it to, was, come up with something like that. You have to give it the information, Bailey reminds us of that all the time, that the computer's only going to do what you ask it to do. And back to Matt's little thing, why would you not shut it down after, I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000 different ones? Let it go all the way to 40,000? Was that just how long the program had to run?
That's a good question. I don't know. They had to have known that, right? Like, with such a large data set. And again, they've been collecting this stuff for years. It's not like, and again, back to data sets, just real quick. We can talk about this a little bit too. But think about all the data sets, huge data sets that Facebook and Google and Twitter and all these assholes have on us too, right? So if we're literally, I think it's a pretty beautiful analogy for what's really going on here. In that, so you take this huge data set and you can tell it, all right, now let's take all this data we have and make horrific things, and it can make horrific things faster than it can make good things by exponentially, right? Like literally off the rails exponentially. Bad things are quite a bit easier to make with data than good things, right? So there's that, and a nice, again, parallel to social media and how they're literally tracking every damn thing we do. Like I say, if you're taking a crap and if you think they're not timing it, you're dreaming. You're dreaming. Leave your phone out of the bathroom. And that's just a joke, but that's a bad joke. Like the Jesus thing. Sorry, was the Jesus thing too bad, James?
No.
Okay, just making sure. Just making sure.
Not at all. It just it's I don't know if I want to go down that way. It's all about the money, It's the money. That brings me to the bingo card. All of the I don't even know what to call them. The supers, we'll call them. You know, the people that are out of our league, the club that we're not in. They're going to come to us and it's like, haha, we've been lying and stealing from you for 200 years. We're out. We're going to Alpha Centauri because they have better radio stations on the fringe.
Well, so what happens when they start blocking the radio station from Alpha Centauri? We're in big trouble, aren't we?
Well, I mean, they'd shut everything down. You know, the oil companies aren't going to produce gas because they're going to be on their way to Alpha Centauri. You know, the media is not going to be producing our entertainment because they're going to be on their way there. It's going to take us forever to figure out how to do it. Does it take 5 years, 10 years, or 5,000, you know, to put all that back together? That's my little thought. The elites are just going to take off and abandon us here. We'll have like world peace or something like that until we figure out how to talk to them again. Yeah. Bailey says the powers that be is a good way to put the big club that we ain't in. Yes.
Yeah. So okay. So those powers that be and this idea of creating from data sets things that are super horrific, super fast, and it takes. I think that is sort of probably a law of nature, though, isn't it? And that building something in a positive manner, right, that will help and influence people. It takes love, it takes care, it takes time. I think that's normal, right? Isn't that sort of a law of nature where you could snap your fingers and just like break shit and, you know, leave a mess for somebody to clean up tomorrow, and you know, in a tenth of the time or 100th of the time, right? I don't know. Am I going a little too goofball for you? What do you think?
No, not at all. I mean, think about the effort that it takes to be something as simple as a farmer. You know, those people put in. You know, most of them are planting their seeds now, you know, getting their crops ready. I mean, there's still ice and snow on the ground, but they don't make any money. But the people that take over their farms and do the, you know, GMO seeds and stuff like that, they just come right in there and they whip it out and they're all part of a thing. We got a bunch of hourly employees that go around to whatever farm it is for the day and take care of whatever they have to take care of and don't make any money either. You know, it's just simple as that. If you want to do something good, you have to remember right in the beginning, you're not going to make any money doing it. You know, the carpenter, I want to make sure that my stuff is really nice and looks cool and lasts for as long as it can possibly last. But I really don't make any money. The people that get the contracts and sell it, crap and stuff like that, they all make a ton of money. You know, brand new GMC pickup trucks that are, you know, $5.50 a gallon for gas to get them 17 miles. You know, it's one of those things. I really think that, you know, it's always the why and the money. You know, why didn't the question when I first came into the show is why didn't they set that up to run something for good? Mass creation, I think he said it was. You know, why would you why not throw a good algorithm into the thing once in a while and report on it? Just that doesn't make much sense to me. Why? Then it comes back to it has to be about money. You know, they're gonna get us to buy the Patriot 6 months worth of food for $300 that lasts for 25 years. You know, it's all about money.
Ah, the money. Yes, sir. So I don't know. So back to that law of nature stuff, and it's like you can break things easy and leave a mess, and you know, like ruin the world for the next generation. And it's just easy to do. But the other thing is building it up. What about this other idea of where do we head from here? They're again stripping it down, like I said. Yoda says the dark side quicker, easier, more seductive. Right? He's teaching Luke Skywalker. It's not better. It's just a easy way to get there. And unfortunately, because you're doing it at the expense of other people. So at what point? Do we demand better? I guess. I guess is the question.
Well, but I think one of the things that we have the great opportunity about, the community that, you created and stuff like that, is you're putting like-minded people together that are giving us the bit of hope that we're going to do what's good anyway. If you look at the majority of people, if they see that you just came out of a burning house or something like that in your pajamas, they're probably going to give you a coat or put you in the warm car, stop to help you change a tire, yell or scream or whatever it's got to be to whatever the situation is. People are inherently good. If a tornado or hurricane, the neighbors all bound together, to help each other out the best that they can. You're not going to leave somebody in the forest fire when you got an extra seat in your truck. It just, all those kind of things. I think we're really good, but I think that's one of the things that we don't have the opportunity to focus on because, well, that doesn't sell anything. It's, how does that, benefit you? It doesn't, but it's probably like the greatest form of wealth is, giving somebody something that you're going to have no benefit of it. You're just doing what's good because it's right.
Yeah, and so my question that I kind of like talked myself into circles there and kind of didn't actually get to ask it because I confused myself. 10 thoughts at the same time trying to wrangle them. It's like always fighting your thoughts, right? But so my question was to you then, is it possible, or is like the laws of thermodynamics kind of stepping in and taking over here and we can't create things without destroying things? The entropy bit. Is it possible to not only build something that's good for humanity and also make a killing doing it? Is it the thing? And real quick on the poo, guys, I'll tell you a poo story in a second. It's not my poo, so don't worry. I'm not going to stoop to that level. The chat is on the poo for a sec, but so that's a question for you, Jay. So, is it possible to I guess to do God's work, to make money, and also do something good for humanity? Do you think there's like a sweet spot there?
The happy medium? I would pray that there is. There's a way that, I don't know. I'm 50. I haven't given up yet. I don't, I make enough. Maybe that's good enough. I'm happy. So do I really need to be Elon Musk rich? Jeff Bezos rich? What are you really going to do with that money? You're probably going to find yourself entertaining yourself with things that are bad anyway. Maybe you're better off not having part of it. You just don't waste your time and your energy worrying about it. I think, I'd hope that it's possible that, maybe not make that much money, but make enough that everything's good. I would hope.
Okay, I like it. I like that you would hope, because I also hope, and that's why I do this show. It's about hope. That's what this is always about. It's about being educated, being concerned, caring, instead of just being able to just destroy things and then move on and live and die and not give a fuck what happens behind you. I truly believe it's up to us to leave the world a better place than we found it. And I think as humanity, we're failing. I think we're failing grotesquely. And so, again, we're just talking. And so some people have said words have power, words have meaning, and words have wisdom. Words are spells. And so in that case, then I hope somehow, some way, we're at least lighting some candle in the darkness. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course you are. Of course we are. I just one of the things that I've noticed is that it really doesn't cost you anything to take that extra step to, instead of throwing the bottle in the garbage, throw it in the bin for recycle. It doesn't cost you anything, but we just don't do it. And I think that's part of a question that might be worth asking, is that why don't we do those simple little things? You walk out of the door when you're in a hurry to get to your car to burn off to work or something like that. take you an extra second to hold the door. You're not going to get there any faster, but we just don't do that stuff anymore. Where did we lose that little bit of, it doesn't cost you anything to be nice to people, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Back to some of the simple things. Back to good old-fashioned Hobbit common sense. I said it right this time. Not Cobbit common sense. like I fucked it up last time. Jay, we got a phone call from a caller, Sam in Michigan. You gonna hang tight? You stay with us to the end?
Sure, absolutely.
Stay right there. Stay right
it's easier to listen.
Right on. Appreciate it. Jay in New York, a good friend of mine, and just going to kick it for a minute while we take this phone call. Still taking your calls, guys. What's this whole idea? What's going on? Why is everything so fucking gloom and doom? And why on God's green earth are we talking about, oh, by the way, you know, we spend all this time like fixing things and it's slow. Like the AI is slow. It's like, oh, you know, kind of going through these chemical compounds and trying to find things, these new drugs that'll help people with, you know, diabetes and heart disease and this, that, the other thing, Alzheimer's, whatever, right? That's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing by any means at all, but that takes a long fucking time. Well, look at this. TheVerge.com says AI suggested 40,000 new possible chemical compounds in just 6 hours, meaning chemical weapons, in just 6 hours. And so it's easy to break things. It's easy to kill people. It's easy to destroy, and it's not easy to create. And that's really sort of the crux of tonight. And of course, the eschatology 2022 bingo card. I'll go back to Jay and ask him what his most ridiculous idea is in just a sec. Let's go to, looks like Sam in Michigan. Welcome to Troubled Minds. You're on with Mike and Jay. Go right ahead.
Hello. Thanks for taking my call.
The pleasure's ours.
Awesome. Yeah, the bingo card. That's pretty cool. It makes me think of Matthew Broderick in War Games. Somebody somewhere is doing something like that with the world right now, it seems like. Hello?
I remember that. I'm old enough to remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Would you like to play a game?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
I'm listening. Listening. Just giving you space to talk. If every time you pause, I jump in, it makes for sloppy. So if you go ahead. All you, my friend.
Gotcha. I'm adjusting. I'm getting it.
Sure. No problem.
I called about a week ago. I talked about the Tonga missile.
I remember. Yep.
I feel like that could be one of the things on the bingo card. I mean, if you think about it, and you know. I just have been watching space weather my whole life. I'm just a space nerd, a very casual space nerd. I think anyone who pays attention to space weather, they're just automatically going to become what people would view as a conspiracy theorist or whatever. My family thinks I'm crazy totally. But that being said, if you were to drop a nuke into a volcano that the shockwave encompassed the Earth 3 times and the plume is still circulating in the atmosphere, isn't that going to make a lot of people sick? You know, and then it was right next to a tropical storm. So, I mean, some of that plume definitely hit that storm. And I think it's multifaceted, multi-layered. I know they've been cloud seeding since the 50s, you know, and it's the whole problem, reaction, solution thing. They're touting global warming or climate change when, you know, we've been controlling the weather for a long time. The skies have not been natural in my entire lifetime. So I feel like they're trying to come at us from all angles. You could put another spot on the bingo card as far as like the 5G thing and, you know, get your vaccination, you know, comply, you know, and then they can kind of control what's going on inside of our bodies, not only with superbugs, but frequencies, you know, and then you add in some nuclear warfare, you know, nuclear stuff in the atmosphere. You know, I mean, it's multifaceted. They're trying to get us at all angles. They're trying to keep us completely overshocked, so we are just numb to it.
Yeah, no, and that makes sense. And again, like I said, I do like the all angles, right? Clyde Lewis, good inspiration of mine is Clyde Lewis of Ground Zero Radio, right? With no Clyde Lewis. Do you know him?
Clyde.
Yeah. With basically
I don't know him. I just love his show.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, same here. I don't know him either. But basically, if there's no Clyde Lewis, there's no troubled minds. But the term he uses for what you just described is full spectrum control. And that means everything. That literally means everything. That means our food. That means our medicine. That means our digital life, or it means our internet. That means everything. And that's you just triggered that term in my brain. It's his term. Again, he may not have made it up, but I heard it first from him. And that's what this is about, isn't it? Full spectrum control of everything. Our thoughts, our ideas, our prayers. Even they want us praying in a particular direction. Like we can't even have our own prayers anymore. Which again, to me is like, hey, let's pray for good things. Let's pray for humanity to right itself. Let's pray for no more war. Let's pray, like there's so many things that we're not even allowed to because we're supposed to hate our neighbor because they're Nazis, right? I mean, it's so fucking stupid, all this, because it's you control the mind, you control everything, don't you?
I hear you. To circle back to what you were asking while I was holding about why is there so much bad, it seems like there is. I think there's just as much good. It's just the bad is loud. The bad is loud and in your face. If you're standing on a line with a sign and you're yelling at somebody, you're driving down the street, you're going to see that. But somebody who is stoic and, biding their time and taking deep breaths and saying their prayers, they're not going to be as noticed as much. And I think it all hangs in the balance because the bad is so loud right now. It's an indication of how intense the good is getting. Hopefully we can break through. I think that's the idea here, and I get it in that it's not so simple as good and evil, right? There's people that are battling for their own survival, right, on a daily basis. I understand, like it's complicated. As always, it's complicated, but it doesn't mean that the ones that don't have to battle for their life on a daily basis can't spread that positivity. And I'm pretty sure you're in the same boat with me there. So if you got to go to your Eschaton bingo card for the end of the world, what's the most ridiculous shit you can think of for 2022, my friend? Oh man, we all find Jesus in the toilet.
Fuck. Now I've done it. Now I've really done it. That's going to have to be a t-shirt, and I'm probably going to get shot over it. Okay. That aside, so did you appreciate the joke, obviously?
Yeah, no, that's all I got. I'll probably call again. I've been listening to your shows when I can. Very informative. You use a lot of key phrases and key words, but disgustion, that's like a new double entendre. You got the word discuss in there too. You've got cool keywords that. When I'm bored and, I had surgery a year ago and I've been kind of down and out, but, when I'm bored and I'm listening to podcasts and I put on Troubled Minds, if by the time that ends, I've got a whole list of things that I could put in my search query to find another podcast that can just keep me going.
Fucking right. That's what it's about. Hey, look, don't give up. Like we all have those times in our lives where we're down and out. Every one of us. I was just talking to a friend of mine about this the other day. He's having a real horrific time. Don't give up. The most important thing is our mind, is our positive energy going forward. Do not give up. You're the best, my friend. Thank you for listening. You're always welcome here. You know where to find me. I'm blessed you found us. You're the best, brother. Thanks for calling.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
You too. Thanks a lot. There you go. Sam in Michigan. Prayers for him to heal up quickly. And there you go. Simple as that. 702-957-1037. We got Jennifer on the line that we'll go to in just a sec. Jay, comments on that? I'm sure you heard Sam. Good stuff.
I did.
Look, we got at least 2 fans of my Jesus and the Pooh joke. What the fuck? It's sometimes you say things you shouldn't. let's just say that.
It's funny. It was funny.
I'm laughing.
It doesn't
anyway.
matter if you offended somebody or everything else like that. I'm sorry they didn't listen to the whole thing because they would have realized that it was funny.
Okay.
It was as simple as that. It was just simple. It's simple. There's no malicious in it or nothing.
It's like it reminds me of like the Ghostbusters, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. It's like Gozer's like choose choose your destructor, and they all like, clear your minds. I'm like Jesus and the Pooh. And they're like, Mike, what did you do?
The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Exactly.
Could you imagine? I'd rather have a marshmallow man than a Jesus Pooh.
Excuse our blasphemy. Your thoughts on what Sam was saying there?
Sam said something to me that kind of like dug a little corkscrew into the brain that started making things work. Was that the bad is so loud right now that you don't notice the good. One of the reasons why it kind of got me going is the bad being so loud because the good is so powerful. They just, they're like on a recruiting campaign or something like that. They don't want to hear or see the good anymore. They just want to focus on the bad, but it's because they're terrified, because they're losing, That was just the thought, but yeah, I enjoyed that whole thought process that Sam brought. I thought that was a really cool thing that, you're not going to notice all those people doing good because they're just going to be there. You're going to notice the people yelling and screaming.
Exactly. Yeah. Like they say, like that. Let's say the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? But on a cosmic level, it just goes. The fractals. It goes up. It goes down.
Speaking of squeaky wheels, not very many people know what's going on with the truck drivers.
Yeah. What's going on with that? Is that even happening? They're acting like it's not happening.
They're circling DC right now, miles and miles. They take tours, they branch off the highway and drive through town every once in a while. They get permission, they're as peaceful can be, They're not, maybe honking their horns and stuff, but other than that, they're doing nothing. Just driving around in their trucks and then $5.50 a gallon in diesel fuel that people are giving them.
Or $6.50. $6.50 now.
Or $7.50 or $8.50 or $9.50.
Oh shit! I have to read. We're going to go to Jennifer here. Don't go anywhere, Jay. You got time? You're going to stay up for this for a little bit?
I'll stay. Absolutely. You guys are brilliant.
We'll go as late as we need. Look. I have to read this. James in the chat, not James of Sausalito Paranormal, but the other James, the other famous James said, "Hey Mike, would the poo leave skid marks called the Shroud of Turin?" I don't know how the fuck. I can't even speak. I don't know how we got here, but sometimes you just say something that takes a life of its own and you regret it the rest of your life. 702-957-1037. Let's go to Jennifer in Missouri. Welcome to Troubled Minds. You're on with Mike and Jay.
Everybody say like 3 Hail Marys.
Exactly. What's on your mind tonight, my friend? How are you?
I was thinking, about the predictions for 2022. And I was wondering I think the ones that I would be most impressed with would be like, if they had like some kind of, like an EMP would really impress me. And so would the Project Bluebeam thing. I wish they'd do something really big, if they were going to do something. It seems to me like they're kind of, like instead of doing like a nuclear thing, it'd be better if they just did something that might bring about something positive, in a way, or some kind of drastic change. It may not be all negative, that'd be kind of cool. But, because that would change things real quick, I mean, if you've ever had like a power outage that went on for a long time, at first it's kind of like, oh, you know, but then it eases into like this is kind of nice, you know, and then it all comes back on like right as you're getting used to it, sort of. I mean, there's a lot of bigger problems that would come from it, but I don't know, it'd be kind of cool. Anyway,
yeah, right. Let's change our paradigm and make the best of it. I feel you there, 100%.
Yeah, because it would really, really shake things up quite a bit, you know. And it's not like it was like a long, you know, it's not going to be like the old world. It'd be, I don't know, it'd be a really neat way to apocalypse, I think, you know, just if it could be held together. Like no cannibalism or anything like that. You know, if it could
yeah. Let's not do that. I'm with you. Let's totally not do that. I'm not down for like an eschaton where I'm eating my dogs first and then looking for people to eat. Let's not do this. Let's not do that.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
Super
anyway,
bad.
Sure, that won't happen. Everything will be fine.
Okay.
But I think, you know, when I think about the fear thing that everybody's feeling, and like for me too, like, you know, I'm out here, I'm fixing to move. Maybe I'm not sure where exactly, not really certain yet. But you know, I've been out in the woods out here, and it's been very, very peaceful. But I started noticing this strange thing where I'd have like this. It's gone now pretty much, but like I'd have like this weird, like almost like somebody had like scared me or something, and my heart would kind of like, it wouldn't really change beating or anything like that, but it would like feel like my chest was like being, like it was acting weird or something. I went to the doctor, everything's fine. But what I was thinking was, you know, emotions and everything are kind of electrical in a way. Like it's literally like a change in the chemistry, and like there's this weird electrical thing. I wonder if they're manipulating us on some level, like with all the, you know, electrical stuff. If maybe it is somehow like we're not actually afraid, but they're putting out something that's making everybody feel afraid, so they act afraid, and then they think that they really are afraid, but they wouldn't be if they weren't being, like, if it wasn't being triggered by some external force of some kind. Because I got no reason to feel any kind of real fear, you know what I mean, or startled feeling. And I don't know, I wonder if a lot of people, I mean, they think that they're afraid about the, you know, the pandemic thing and all of that, but I don't know, I wonder if they're really, you know, and everything else that's happening, but I wonder if it's being kind of nudged along superficially from some external, you know, powerhouse of something. Or what if there's even like an incoming change in the celestial, you know, area, like maybe some kind of something coming in, and it's kind of pulling things different, and it's changing something that's making us all feel funny. Because I think it's kind of, with the communication we all have, I don't know if it's a universal thing, but people are kind of acting like they're more, I don't know, like worried. But I mean, I know there's normal day-to-day life things, but I wonder if there's something, I don't know. You know, and what if there was something that were to happen that would cause like an EMP that wasn't done by, you know, by people? If there was something that were to happen that would cause it, I don't know. That would just really shake things up in such a big way, because it would immediately complicate everything. But once you found kind of an even keel, it'd be so simple. Like everything would, because all the people you talk to, but also it'd be really weird for a lot of people. But like everybody you talk to all the time, and everything that seems to be a problem, or any kind of complications, not even a problem, but just anything that causes complications. If that just stopped suddenly, and there was just like this very simple, like you wake up, you take care of 2 or 3 problems, and then you go to sleep, and that's literally just what you have to do every day. Wouldn't that just change everything? Like people would just resort right back to like some basic level of, I don't know, it might be, I don't know. It'd probably be a bad thing for a while, I guess. But I don't think it would have to be, considering all of that resources and everything. Like people pretend there's a shortage of resources, but it seems like there's quite a few resources to be had, you know.
Yeah, we're
an EMP.
EMP.
That'd be something else.
Okay, but you're right. For like, I mean, how much food are we throwing away every day in the United States? That's ridiculous. We're like, these restaurants are just making the shit. They're like, oh, nobody bought it. We'll just throw it in the dumpster. Like that's the shit that's going on in this world, and it doesn't have to be like that. It just doesn't have to be, right? Like, I don't know. I know you think similarly in those instances. It's like, why are we wasting so much? We're wasting so much. We're wasting ideas. We're wasting food. We're wasting thoughts. We're wasting positivity with all this fear and disgustion. Sorry, go ahead.
Because there's so much distraction, you know. I think there's so much distraction all the time, and there's like and we want to stay distracted to kind of avoid something. So because of all the distraction, we feel much busier and more, more consumed than we might actually need to be. But we can't cut free of it because I don't know. It just seems like you can't, because you just don't want to. But if you were made to by something like that, I don't know. At first, there might be a little bit of madness, but then that would kind of settle down, I would imagine. And what would that do to all of these like archon things? Like, did they come because of all of the technology? And would they be very effective if it wasn't here to use to manipulate everybody? Like I love technology. I'm not an anti-technology person, but I don't know. It's really, what it's doing is really strange. And it seems like it's giving more power to something than it should have. Because we should be able to, like we should be what we are, just being able to do, like it's our lot, like we take it for granted that we are like apex creatures, like we're top of the line, and we're often putting ourselves down so much. But truly, I mean, if we were at our best, there's just nothing like a human being, like the power of a human being, the same as the other creatures. You can look at all the other creatures, but it goes back to that barn cat versus house cat thing, and it's really interesting because it's like we've all been robbed of our integrity, of our dignity, like the feeling that we can have integrity and dignity in ourselves, and we're always questioning that. And not to sound all weird or anything, but it's truly something that's been taken, and everybody kind of just has to do what they're told, and they shuffle around hoping they can do what they want to do without getting any kind of trouble for it. And well, in some instances, whether it's like on any level, and it just seems so strange. Like a creature is so dignified, like an elephant in a circus. How we're all sad about that, but we're not sad about our situation. We're like elephants in a circus.
That's probably one of the best allegories
really
I've heard in a long time. We are the. So I say this too: the elephant in the room. The other night I said it's not. It's the humanzee in the room. Where's the hybrid chimpanzee? Right, the human chimpanzee. But let's take it one next level further. The actual elephant in the room is that we are the elephant in the circus. We don't give a damn, do we? It's embarrassing. Like,
terrible.
Come on, right?
It is so undignified for us. Like what they want us to do, like just every day, day in, day out, like do what we tell you to do, and we'll give you peanuts, and then you can go buy some stuff, some tickets or something for this and that. It's just not right. Like, because we're so majestic, like every single human being is pretty majestic, honestly. Like because of their capabilities, as a creature, it's very impressive. If I was another creature looking at us, I'd be like, wow, that's impressive. Like any little thing that we're doing. So I don't know. I just think that that's really strange. And I'm sure there's something on the other side that's rooting for us,
I hope so. I'm with you on that. I certainly hope so.
I imagine.
Yeah. We don't get here considering huge concepts without it, I think, in some way, right? Like we're majestic, but I don't think we're like, let's say divine. I think that's maybe crossing the line.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to say that. I mean, we're just creatures, but impressive creatures,
For sure.
I mean, I don't know.
100%.
I mean, we're no less than like the tigers. Like tigers are pretty amazing, and we're always like impressed by them, but we're not impressed by our own humanity. Like I don't know, that's too bad.
I don't know. I think Bill Gates is pretty impressed by himself. I think so.
I'm sure. And if you look at pictures, I like looking at old pictures, like really, really old pictures. And the people in those pictures, they still have their like, you can tell they're like, they're wearing their weird folk clothes and stuff. and they have so much integrity. Like, they're just so, you couldn't tell those men or women what to do. You know, you couldn't walk up to these men and women in some of these old folk pictures wearing like their regalia and stuff and tell them what you'd have to beat it out of them, like they've done to us, you know. But like, it's like, I wonder what it would feel like to have that kind of integrity, like that kind of dignity, where no one could tell. So it's just like this sovereignty about them, like this demand for respect, and they're not even trying. They're not even trying. It's just natural to them, like a you know, like a kid that's not been. I don't know. It's really interesting. But in those old, look at really old pictures and look at their faces. It's like you can't tell them nothing. Like they know what they are.
Hey,
they don't wonder what they are.
Yeah, you seen me on the screen. You can't tell me nothing, Jennifer. You can't tell me nothing. And so it's meaning a couple things. Number one, and I'm always scared of this. I'm always totally afraid of this. And I'll let you. I know you've been on a bit, and if you want to stay, you're welcome to stay. You know, a couple things, just real quick. I'm always scared of this. At what point is my ego and confidence is as big as the sun touching its toes on the Dunning-Kruger effect? And I got to tell you, I'm always a little worried. I'm always a little worried. This moron, he's so confident. Oh, jeez. Here I am making jokes about Jesus and the poo. Oh, boy.
Well, it's funny.
Well, as long as it's funny.
But, you know, the one last thing I was like,
sure,
you know, what's weird about it, though, about that, you know, not, like, we're the only creature that doesn't know what we're about. Like, we're the only one. We're like the only creature that's like, what? I don't know what to do. You know, like, I'm not sure how to be human.
Yeah,
like, we're the only one.
True.
There's something wrong there.
That's a fantastic point.
There's
You're right.
something wrong.
Yeah, and I think
like a dog doesn't wonder, like,
yeah,
what does a dog do? I don't know how to be a dog.
They know how to be a dog.
Know?
Even my little puppy, the love of my life, little dog, who's now passed on. We got him so small. He knew how to be a dog. He never spent time around dogs. They took him away from his mom when he was way too little to even learn from the pack. He came with us and he was by himself and just with me and my wife now. And he just knew how to be a dog. He just learned how to be a dog. He knew. You're right. What an incredible point. It's like, how come people don't know how to be people? And I think, and this is a whole nother show you just inspired, I think it's by design.
Might be. That's a good point.
Sure seems like.
It's too bad.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah, we got to get ourselves straight.
Get it straight.
Yeah.
Jennifer, you're the best.
Anyway.
Very good stuff as always. Appreciate it. Jennifer has a YouTube channel. Check it out. Links in the description. And as you can tell, brilliant. A good friend of mine. Good luck in your move when you get there. Let me know. You know where to find me if you need help with whatever. And thanks for calling. Thanks for listening. Always a pleasure. Have a fantastic weekend, okay?
Yeah. Have fun.
Thanks a lot. You too. There you go. There you go. There you go. Jay. Whoa. Jennifer, blowing up brains again, right?
Absolutely. I want to say, go through life with the confidence of a 5-year-old wearing a Batman t-shirt. You know, they really, I think that's one of the things that we lose. And what Jennifer was saying is that we get into that working and doing what we're supposed to be doing and all the trigger things that make you mad. Just because that's what we're supposed to do. But if you look at, you know, little people, kids, you know, they're just wandering around doing what gives them the warm and fuzzy, you know, whether it's playing with Legos or doing artwork or building a ramp for their tricycle, giving their parents a reason to eat half a bottle of baby aspirin. It just, I think we've gone to a point where we're so afraid to talk about certain things that we don't anymore, that we should tone everything back a huge scale and just look at it really simple. You know, 90% of all problems that you'll deal with in your life, the solution was really simple. It took a long way to get there.
Yeah.
Sorry, babbling.
No, you're perfect. Right on point. That's exactly what Jennifer was saying. She's like, how come we're the only, like, you know, we have that majesticness about us. We humans at their best are incredibly hot stuff, but somehow, some way, everything from the beginning to the end of many humans is mired in self-doubt, loathing, not trusting others. You know what I mean? Like, instead of love, it's hate. I mean, literally on the opposite end of things, where they should be. It's the craziest thing, right? We have this just bizarre ass again, and I think she basically encapsulated the entire notion of we as humans live in the upside down. What I'm always talking about, what we're always talking about, she just quantified it in like 90 seconds, like perfectly. It's like, hey, how come the rest of the animal kingdom knows what the fuck it's supposed to be doing? But somehow, some way, we get into this mess of this humanity, and none of us know what the fuck is supposed to be going on. Here we go. Like this, literally, this entire talk show is built on the premise of, hey, people can be amazing, but why the fuck aren't we? What is going on, right? This is a train wreck. Like this is an unbelievable upside down, sideways train wreck on fire, about to tip off a cliff. And it's like, come on now. Like, we have the ability to be better than this. Why aren't we? Why aren't we?
Jennifer's elephant in the room comment. You know, the chained elephant that we feel sorry for. No one ever talks about the elephant in the room. We're not allowed to talk about us. If we talk about us, we're conspiracy theorists or nut jobs or nerds or whatever.
Yeah, right?
We're not allowed to talk.
By design.
By
design.
Why is the sky blue? Why am I allowed to ask a question on why these mathematical equations work this way? Well, they just work that way. That's the way that it is. Accept it. You won an A on the test or not. You know, it's all of those things that I don't know. I've had the opportunity in my life to deal with lots of kids, you know, as a kid teaching other kids, and as an adult, you know, being suckered into this job's really not going to cost you any money, and you're like, yeah, right. But
yeah, right.
Well, I mean, it ends up being another full-time job, you know, but it just, we don't want to do that. And why we got away from that, I don't know, because there's a lot of people out there that'll take the time to show you what they're doing. I don't think there's a lot of people out there that'll listen to advice. Is the only thing that's free that's never taken, you know, kind of situation.
Mind your own business.
Well, I'm not saying about like love life and stuff like that, because obviously everybody should mind their own business, because
right.
Never give advice on somebody's love life. You know, I was a bartender for a long time. People would come up and ask for like marital advice or girlfriend advice, and be like, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
No thanks.
Yeah. Peanut Gallery, you're around here somewhere, aren't you? Why don't you give some advice? You've been divorced 12 times. You tell them.
Before you said that, I was going to say the Peanut Gallery is on Rockfin, so I retract that thought. But what's up? I see the Rockfin fam is growing over there, and the Peanut Gallery exists. It's real. I'm not saying you've been divorced 12 times, but anyway, good shit. What else, my friend? What else you got for us tonight? Again, you know, I'm in absolutely no hurry. If you want to give me a second, I'll go run away and hit the men's room. But I'm willing to go all fucking night, because nobody tells us when to stop.
If you got to go hit the men's room, you got to give me a question that I can give you the minute and a half or whatever it takes.
Sure. Okay.
I can answer. Cut me off guard a bit.
No, that's okay. That's okay. No, I'm asking you. If you're ready to wrap, we can wrap. If not, we can keep talking. It's up to you. Are you having a good time, Jay? That's what I'm asking. You having a good time?
I'm having a fantastic time, Mike. I really believe that just listening to that, I mean, I'm disappointed that, work schedule and everything else like that has put me in a situation where I'm not around as much. But
no. Again, once again, for all of you out there that are part of this Troubled Minds family, you guys know who you are. Never apologize for missing shows. You have a life and you got shit to do. Do it. It's okay. We'll be here waiting for you.
Yeah, but I'm doing it for money. I'm doing it for money. But how did I make it with not that money before?
I'm just saying.
I'm chasing something now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's commitments. Chasing. Yeah, I mean it's complicated. Things are complicated. I'm just saying. Never apologize for not being here for us because we're here for you when you're ready to come back. It's okay. Don't sweat it. I get apologies often, and I'm like, why? It's okay. It's okay. That's why we're here. Look, and this is part of the reason too, right? Hell or high water, a good idea to talk about or not. It's why I pride myself in being here every fucking night. Every fucking night. Because look, I know, I've been there. I know you guys need me. I know that I need you. I know that we need each other. And if I don't come and do this, we miss each other. I take it seriously. Even if I don't have, again, something compelling to consider or talk about, I take it seriously because I understand there's a lot more going on here than just me. There's a lot. And so that's what I'm saying. So it's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. Now, apologies not necessary. People are like, I've been away for a minute. Things have been difficult. That's life. Life is difficult. Shit is not. Again, like if it was easy, we'd all be coasting it easy. If life was easy, there would be no Troubled Minds, to be honest. This is about the fact that life is hard and we don't talk about it. We don't consider it. We don't like grant each other the honesty of that notion. But it is. It's true. It's true. So the question for you, my friend, Jay, as I step away, I'm going to step away for a sec. We're going to keep on talking. If you want to talk to Jay or myself, Jay's going to stay up late with us, apparently, because he's New York time and it's fucking late over there. He gets up early. 702-957-1037. The question tonight is exactly this. Number one is why, where, all the fear, is it control, etc. What about the 2022 bingo card? What's the most ridiculous fear thing you would come up with if you were the mainstream media? Whether it's murder hornets or giant spiders falling out of the sky on the East Coast, or again, mine is the cosmic lab leak hypothesis, because why the fuck not? What do you think? If you got to say, Jay, one crazy thing, the craziest idea, and I don't mean like this, like the most horrific, like, oh, we're going to die in like acid rain or like starving to death or something. I don't mean that. I don't mean like the most horrific. I mean like the most like cartoon, ridiculous bullshit way the end of the world will come. What is on your bingo card that wouldn't be on anybody else's? That's what I'm asking. 2022 Eschaton bingo card. That's what I need. Give me 90 seconds, Jay, and I'll be right back. You good?
Yeah.
Roll it, brother. Right back. Thank you.
I'm going to go with the 5G and the EMP pulses from the sun and everything else like that is going to awaken Godzilla in one of the volcanoes out of the coast of Japan. Create a giant tsunami, and we're going to have to deal with a giant animal that no one's discovered yet. And he's going to breed a whole bunch more. We're going to go back to the Godzilla part of the world where the giant earth monsters from down below are going to come up and wreak havoc for a while. And it'll probably all be just a Project Bluebeam thing that we get to see on TV in some other town that'll never affect us. And at the whole time, all the super rich people and everything else like that will be jumping ship and heading to Mars so they can start over fresh. I think that's the best cartoon one I can come up with. Because with what we've seen in the last couple of years, it's really hard to say what they're going to throw at us next. I really think that we're in a place where we're so bound on fear and afraid of what's going on. We're forgetting to do all the really super simple things that would always make us happy. Sing, dance, run around naked in the woods, whatever it might be.
I'm here, buddy.
How'd I do?
You did great. You did great. Are you kidding me? How the hell did we get Godzilla, Project Bluebeam, and then animals dancing in the woods in the same fucking thought? What the fuck, bro?
If you look at all those things, what was that one that was like the puppets? Remember, like in the 70s, there was the puppets. I can't remember what they were called, but they had the spaceships and everything else like that, and they always went and fought it was like the precursor to Japanime. But they were puppets. Do you remember that? They were on Saturday mornings. It was like a Thunder. It wasn't the Thundercats.
Oh, no. Yeah. Thundar the Barbarian. Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. No, he had a sun sword. So it was like it was kind of a ripoff of like the lightsaber, right? Thundar the Barbarian had a fucking sun sword. Hey, Jay. We're both old. We're both old. I used to watch.
I remember getting up early and watching that on Saturday mornings. Before you get kicked out of the house to go ride your bike. Get out of here. Go play outside.
Same here.
If you're outside, you're not making a mess inside.
And they couldn't call it a lightsaber because, of course, it was copyright Lucasfilms, whatever. So they had to call it a sun sword.
Yeah, like an asteroid hit the moon or something like that and split it in half, and the world went into chaos.
Yeah.
Wasn't that like the precursor to the whole show?
I think so, right? Isn't it interesting? Now, this is a whole this is a whole show by itself too. So Jennifer just blew up the brain with a whole show there. Is all of that thing kind of our confusion of being a human intentional? Like, we're not supposed to know what we're supposed to do. That's a whole like mind fuck 3 hours right there. What you just said is how often are those ideas of cartoons sort of based on a premise of like an post-apocalyptic world, almost like
all of them, Transformers, G.I. Joe, all of them.
Almost like they're setting us up for some shit. Predictive programming.
Well, I mean, but then you put that into the little kids where they're watching their things, in the morning while they're eating their cereal or their yogurt or whatever it is. I mean, you're making them think that, Minecraft is the big game amongst all the little teeny people right now. They all want to play it, but there's zombies and villagers and looters or pillagers, they call them, in those games. You have to build your little fortress and make your thing and grow your crops and all that they do. Farmville, for Christ's sakes, was closely slim. You had to rely on your neighbor or you wouldn't get your bigger farm.
Yep.
I think all of those games were, kind of based on that odd interaction with people. What are you willing to sacrifice to get to where you want to be in your game?
Yeah, and hopefully, if you're doing it right, here you go. Yeah, we're so I guess this is a new undercurrent of troubled minds. We're writing the book of life, all right, from our perspective, from this group, and I'm going to start it like this, all right. If you're chasing whatever it is you're chasing, and you're not destroying people in the process, that's a good way to be a human being. I think that's as good a start as any. What do you think?
Yeah. Integrity is doing what you're supposed to do when people aren't watching. That's what integrity, that's what we were told integrity was. I don't know if they changed it or not, but integrity is doing what you're supposed to be doing when nobody is watching you do it. It's, call me to build your house. You're going to cover stuff up with insulation and sheetrock and all kinds of other crap and stuff like that to make it look pretty inside. In all honesty, you just want it to last for at least until your mortgage is paid.
Yeah, right.
You know. well, I mean, but really, that's how we build houses now. You know.
Right.
It's guaranteed for 25 years. Well, I got a 35-year mortgage. Wow, you're going to be refinancing before you're done.
It's just good. Well, it's built to break. It's built to break. Yeah. It's fucked up. Tell me, Jay, we don't live in the upside down. Can you convince me otherwise?
That I have zero rebuttal for you, Mike. I apologize.
That's okay. It's
usually I try, but I don't really think I could argue that point really well. I'd be lying.
I'd be lying.
I would just be doing it for the argument, you know?
Yeah, too much maybe juice. Too much, like maybe juice is good, but too much maybe juice is also bad. It's also bad. Also, by the way, regarding my hair, notice in the back, I cut it myself. I found out I never realized exactly where I should kind of stop cutting it in the back coming up. Now I realized I'm just going to put the headphones on and cut it up to that point of the headphones. That's gonna be my marker of where I cut my hair short of the back.
So does it put the Flowbee on with the headphones, man,
exactly.
and start at the headphones
that's
and
what
go
I'm
back?
gonna fucking do too. That's what I'm gonna do. I should make a video of that because that's funny as hell. I'm gonna literally like that little thing that's popping up behind the head. Yep, gone.
You got a Flowbee?
Yeah, I've got I do it with the Flowbee, dude. I'm an '80s dude. Are you shitting me? I'm an '80s kid.
That's awesome.
I actually have a Flowbee
so bad.
Yeah, I've got one. I think they've actually the shit still works, right? The shit still works. And I cut my own hair, and the weird spots in the back are because I don't know where to like stop it, you know. But now I know. You just roll the headphones and. It's like, I noticed it on the camera. I'm like, why do I got a hair sticking up behind the headphones? This is fucked up. I got a cure for that. I'm gonna trim it this weekend with my headphones.
You should do it right after the show before you like end the stream and everything else like that.
If
you can cut it live for the cancer kids.
Yeah.
Don't they have the cancer kid thing coming up like April or May where everybody, the firefighters and policemen all cut their hair for cancer kids to raise money?
Yeah. I think the problem is my hair's not long enough for them to take like that. The cancer kids and the hair, right? Like the human hair. I think it has to be a certain length. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of them just do it for the people give them funding. You cut all your hair off and stuff like that. We'll give you $5, and they go around and get 100 people to give them $5.
I see. Okay.
But then they take the kids that have got hair that they haven't cut since they were in like the 7th grade or something like that. And those kids cut their hair and they make wigs out for them of real human hair for cancer kids.
I see. Okay. Yeah. That's good stuff. For sure. Again, like I recommend doing all that stuff. If you guys have that stuff around you and you're able to do things like that, for sure, 100%. I would instantly shave my hair out. Like I'm blessed, right? Like I can shave this whole damn thing off and be like bald as a prison guy, right? Be like mugshot in the prison, and like within like 10 days I would have hair back. Like my hair grows so damn fast. I guess I have my grandmother, both grandmothers to thank for that. They say it's from your maternal side of your grandmothers. So hey,
I'm blessed that way too, Mike.
Shit just grows
I'm
back.
Blessed that way.
So that's why I'm not scared to cut my own hair, because you're like, it fucked it up, big deal. It'll be back tomorrow. It's a couple few days. Just wear a hat. It's all good. I don't give a shit.
Remember, a little shorter.
Yeah, exactly. A little shorter, whatever. It's all good. All right, Jay. What's up, man? Do you have a J-tro for us tonight?
I do. I had one that I didn't look the way that I normally do. I had one and I thought, this one will be okay. And then there's like, no, I don't like that. And then everybody started talking, and this one that I had saved for a while showed up.
Sometimes that's the way it goes. All right. So hang on to that before we get to it. I don't want to cut you off and just like be a blam J-tro. So what's your final thought about tonight? What's your final thought about troubled minds, about all this? Just go ahead. Like I said, I'm not trying to make this a shut up, we're done. I'm fine. Everything's fine. We're fine here now. We're all fine here now.
Well, there's always lots of time for everyone to join us in after hours in the Discord. I feel like I haven't been promoting that enough. But I think that the thought process of getting people in here and talking about a topic and trying to stay on the topic for a little while to let people have an intelligent conversation is an excellent way to make our minds work. I think that's one of the things that we've gotten away from is that, you just want to get up, you want to do your thing, and come home, Netflix and chill, have a couple of beers and hit the bed. Do it all over. I think there's a lot of other things that we could be doing, instead of catching up on Netflix or whatever your television show is.
Exactly. Hey, just real quick, do you know what Netflix and chill means? Just.
I think that's like a hookup thing on that Tinder or whatever. Okay. I'm old. I'm sorry. I'm old.
That's what I just want to make sure. I'm just slightly not old enough to know what that means, and that's exactly what it means. It's like, hey, baby, you want to Netflix and chill? You know what that means.
Yeah, come over and have a bottle of wine and watch half a movie.
I'm just checking. I'm just making sure that you don't say that and not know you're saying that to somebody. Anyway,
I'm not that old.
Okay, all right.
All right, old.
Hey, I'm talking here. I don't know, man. I don't want to make sure. I didn't know that. And then somebody told me, I was like, really? Is that what that fucking means? I'm like, thank God I didn't just say that randomly. Because I
learned that from a Boy Scout.
What the fuck? Of course you did.
Yeah.
You learned all the dirty words of Boy Scouts.
17 years old. I was like, holy crap, dude. What are you guys talking about over? You guys can't talk about that stuff. We're on a Boy Scout trip here, man. Stop it.
Yeah, that's what it means. If you say to somebody, to the young generation, Netflix and chill, it means, hey baby, what's up? Hey baby, what's up?
Yeah.
Anyway,
you want to go to the school dance,
and then visit the bleachers where nobody's at after the school.
I'll walk you home afterwards.
There you go.
Because you're still allowed to do that.
There you go. Yeah. So I just want to make sure. Just one old guy to another old guy. I'm just looking out for you, Jay. All right, go ahead. Go ahead with your thoughts, my friend.
No, I appreciate it. It's funny, it is. This old people really. Our parents didn't get us. We don't get them. But the older we get, the more we realize that it's all basically the same crap recycled over and over again. They know. They laugh. My Uncle Kenny always used to tell me, God's going to get you. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he goes, you're doing all the stuff that you don't think your parents knew about. Well, you're getting them right now. When you have kids, they're going to get you. And just give you that aggravation. It's the natural progression of things. It's just the way it goes. But
hey, I can't even imagine. I'd love to take a poll, maybe a week or two from now. How many people, not just here, but because again, the live show is about 10% or even less of our entire reach of this show. How many people actually learned what Netflix and chill means? I'd be curious if it's a 20 percentile or a 30th percentile or 50th percentile. Exactly. Who the fuck knows? I'm pretty sure that most of the people listening to us aren't 20 years old. You know what I mean? So it's anyway, I think that's super funny. Super funny.
You learn something new every day. That's part of being alive, right?
There you go. If you ain't learned something today, you ain't doing it right. All right. What else you got, my friend?
I don't know, Mike. I could go on for hours and hours, but
okay. Plug the after show. Plug the after chat. Do that thing then.
Yes. Join the Discord. If you like what you're seeing, join the Discord. It's in the links below, right? Probably.
Troubleminds.org. Troubleminds.org. I'm going to put it actually in the chat right now. If you haven't joined the Discord, come say hi. Well, these conversations go on like crazy. Sometimes all night. We jump in after the show. Sometimes I'm exhausted and I can't because it's 8 or 9 hours leading up to this point, so I just go pass out. But many other people hop in here, different time zones. Come say hi. If you haven't done it, come join the Discord. Come say hi. Come meet all these amazing people because, like I said, if you think Jay seems cool now, go hang out with him after when because people get this I'm on the air sort of like nervousness, and I'm not saying Jay does, but I'm saying
I'm gonna get you take you down.
Yeah, well, there's that too. There's that too. That's a good point. But so there's kind of like that. It's just people being people. And if you think the people that call into the show and are amazing here, they're double, triple amazing there. So just come actually meet them. They're these people that are again, I say these people in the most affectionate way. Are way more amazing than you think. So come say hi. If you haven't joined the Discord, please do. They're all in there, and come do it. There you go. There's the plug. Troubleminds.org. Click the Discord link if you miss it in the chat, or you catch it on the podcast feed. It's right there, right top of the website. Click Discord. Boom. You're in. We'll talk about Thunder the Barbarian and Netflix and chill. the juxtaposition of the two generations or third generational leap. I don't fucking know.
Awesome recipes come out every once in a while too.
Yeah, you never know. Jay's a master carpenter. If you are putting up a shed in your back, he can give you pro tips. Pro tips. Oh, and by the way, if you're starting a podcast or YouTube channel, I can also give you pro tips, and it's free. We're not going to charge. I don't charge anybody. Jay doesn't charge anybody. Come say hi. Lots of amazing people hanging out, chilling, and having a good time. So there we go. I think that probably covers it. So you do have a J trail first, my friend?
I do.
Okay, hold on just one moment.
The bass to drop.
Okay, we're going to wait for the bass to drop because Jay's a pro now. Jay's a seasoned pro. So here we go. This is the way this works, right? If you want to help the show, it's super simple. I'll save that. Let's just play the thing and do the thing and be like this. Let's do this. Look, if you love the show, follow all the people in the description down below. So many people help with this show. It's incredible. I can't say thank you enough to all the amazing folks who hang out with us on a nightly basis and just contribute and blow up brains. You guys know who they are. Scroll down. Links in the description. Go check it out. Go give these people love. Amazing folks. Nice folks. Join the Discord like Jay said. And there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Jay in New York with the J-Tro. Go right ahead, my friend.
Lock up your libraries if you like, but there's no gate, no lock, no bolt that can set upon the freedom of a mind. Virginia Woolf.
There it is. Meaning, of course, ideas live forever. Ideas live forever. Great stuff. Come say hi. Come meet us. Come hang out. You want to see like I'm not going to say it because it's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. A sloppy, way too late Michael Strange. You'll get it. From time to time, it's not every night, but once in a while I stay up way too late and do too much bantering with these amazing folks. Come hang out. Come meet Jay. Come meet Night Stalker pops in there. Apoc's in there. James Salcido, Paranormal. So many people. Dave of Hawkins Guitars is in there all the time. 40s is there. Again, Daryl in New York. If I name everybody, I just fuck myself because I forgot some people. They're all there. Come say hi. Come hang out and understand that it is like it seems. This is not some phony concoction of fake people calling in to create some illusion of some bullshit. This is real. It's all real. So thank you so much for being part of this. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for being here. Thanks for making it easy to come back. Like I said, I take it seriously. I'm glad you do. And if you want to help the show, spread the word. Please spread the word. That's the thing. We can beat the algorithms with old school word of mouth. Just let people know, hey, there's a talk show going on. There's a actual conversation. What I'm calling, me personally, the great conversation. We're bringing it back. We're taking it back. There are ideas that they don't let us talk about, and we're going to do it anyway. All right? If that isn't brass balls, I don't know. I guess what is
the size of dump trucks, Mike?
The size of dump trucks. There it is. There it is. So there it is. If you want to help the show, sub up on Rockfin directly. You can sub up on, of course, Twitch or Patreon. If you don't want to spend money but you do love the show, listen to the podcast feed. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of episodes, literally hundreds of episodes on the podcast feed. If you listen to that on iTunes or Spotify or Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts, And every time you do and download one and listen, it gives like a couple, 3 cents to me. Please do it. I appreciate it very much. Let's get the fuck out of here. Jay, you know how it goes. Be sure.
Be strong. Be true.
Be true. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night.
God willing.
Yes, indeed.
Right now?
yeah, we're good. We're good. Stream killing in 3. 3.